Michael. Thank you very much. You're watching the ACC on ESPN, and we do hope you enjoyed that lead up to kick off a big one in the Coastal. Miami on the road. Both teams 4-2 taking on the Hokies of Virginia Tech. No program has defined Thursday night college football on ESPN like this Virginia Tech program has. And this one is a big one, as they've had so many times on Thursday night at Lane Stadium. The Coastal Division in the ACC is wide open. Virginia Tech 2-1 in a good spot. They've already beaten Carolina, who is 3-1. Miami, this may be do or die for them if they have any realistic conference championship hopes. And the fans, after all of that, ready for kickoff. Virginia Tech won the toss. They have deferred. Dave Fleming with you. Laura Rutledge down on the sideline. Jesse Palmer making his way from the field back up here to the broadcast booth. So the Hokies defer. They will kick off to the Hurricanes. Will have the ball first tonight. And Joey Sly has got a big leg into the end zone for a touchback, in Miami will start at the 25. We'll send it back down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, you can tell just how loud it is down here in Miami. Expects this to be the loudest environment they've played in all season long. So that means this week in practice, they played with more silent cadence and practice with that than they have all year long. They're very comfortable with it. They do it a lot, even when they don't need it. They told me that the most they've used it so far this year is against FSU. They expect this to be their loudest environment, and they're going to do everything they can to communicate without having to talk.
And it's loud. Brad Kaya, the junior quarterback, hands off. Mark Walton, the starting tailback, gets stuffed. Dropped for a loss on the first play from scrimmage. Brad Kaya's played a lot of football, 1,300 plus yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He has been taking some heat from Hurricanes fans. Maybe not quite as sharp the last couple weeks in Miami's 2 losses, both at home, but both to good teams. Play fake. Kaya pressured, and he'll go down. The ball came out, but they ruled Kaya was down. Jesse, you made it back up. Welcome up to the booth.
Thank you. Lost a lot of weight running back here, but a nice job by that time on the pressure from the freshman Trevon Hill, number 94, coming around the outside. You see him there from the left side of the screen, getting pressure on Brad Kaya. It's going to be a big key for Miami in this game. Having success running the ball first and second down. You do not want to live in third and long situations against the speed and the pass rush that Virginia Tech possesses.
Well, the officials are actually going to stop. I think they're even having a hard time hearing down on the field. We may have a communication from the booth.
Please reset the game clock to 14 minutes, 15 seconds.
So
1-4, 1-5.
Getting the clock right.
Well, I can tell you from experience, it's loud down there.
Yes.
Hard to hear yourself think.
Exactly the kind of spot you said the Hurricanes have to avoid. Kaya, very conservative. They hand the ball off, and Walton's going down. They get a few. They needed a lot. It's 4th down, and Miami's going to have to punt the ball away.
I think you like that if you're defensive coordinator Bud Foster for Virginia Tech, because they're a little bit banged up right now on the defensive line. They've got some key starters out in the game. A couple of reserves having to go early here, but a nice job forcing an early 3 and out.
Have you caught your breath?
Yeah, I'm good. I am lathered up underneath this blazer.
Greg Strauss just stay a few extra feet away from you here in the booth. Greg Stroman, who's a big play return man, fair catch. And the Hokies will have the ball for the first time starting at their own 35-yard line. Well, a long journey and kind of a circuitous one for Jerron Evans, who has made a big impact. Signed initially with Air Force, kid from Dallas, went to junior college, played very well there, had familiarity with Justin Fuente, the first-year head coach here in Blacksburg, and won the starting job in fall camp. He is a very talented guy who has played extremely well.
Yeah, you can see why he was the #1 rated JUCO quarterback prospect coming out last year, because he is the ultimate dual threat. Will hurt you from the pocket and running it.
He's going to pitch it on first down, right side. And Miami's defense has really played well. This is a good Hurricanes defense. McMillan with the carry. But the numbers for Gerard Evans early in his Hokies career are excellent.
You know, really the most impressive part you see there, 17 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. He's been a phenomenal decision maker. Hasn't put the ball in harm's way, and as a result, most efficient passer right now in the ACC.
They're going to swing it out. Quick hitter. Cam Phillips turning it upfield. First down.
But Evans to me is impressive because he's big. He's 6'3", 240 pounds, strong in the pockets, got a good arm, and is an accurate thrower, but he might be the best running back Virginia Tech has. Again, we talked about that. A 235-pound guy that has power but can also make you miss. And Miami has not seen a lot of offenses this year with a lot of design quarterback runs like the Hokies will show them tonight.
So first down, they will fake that jet sweep and roll Evans out. He's got an open receiver, complete, another first down. This time the tight end, Chris Cunningham. Well, the Hokies, I don't know what the expectation level quite was coming into the year. First year in so long without Frank Beamer at the helm, but 4-2, 2-1. The real disappointing of those 2 losses was just last week up at Syracuse.
The big question is, how do they rebound from that? I think we're still learning a lot about this young Hokies team.
Option style play, and the pitch to McMillan, who is dangerous in the run game. He broke 1 tackle, still on his feet. McMillan gets a first down.
You're going to see Virginia Tech play with at least 3 running backs tonight. Trayvon McMillan at 205 pounds, actually the smallest of the 3, but he's got a lot of speed. They like to get him outside of the tackles to utilize that, but here, showing a great job pumping the legs, taking multiple canes to bring him down.
Well, Miami cannot afford this. Kendrick Norton, who is one of their best, but also one of their only healthy top-line defensive linemen, right away is down on the field. And that is not good news for the Hurricanes. This game has started out very well for Virginia Tech. We'll be back right after this. All right, back here at Lane Stadium. Good news for Miami. It does look like Kendrick Norton is okay. We'll show you what happened. Bottom part of your screen, Norton, number 7, going down to the ground, and from the backside, a knee right to the back of the helmet.
And that's a guy that they can't afford to miss. You see all the different injuries they've had, and players that are out tonight in the front 7. They don't have a lot of depth, and Norton, I think, has been their most explosive playmaker up front.
Hokies with what looked like a design quarterback run. Evans didn't have a whole lot of room, maybe got a couple yards on first down. I mean, that's the thing about the injuries for Miami. They have all piled up along that defensive line. I mean, so many of their top players are out on their front. They're missing their 2 starting defensive ends tonight. They will not play. 2 play fakes. Evans now pressured, and he's going to throw the ball away. So it'll be third down for Virginia Tech, and we'll go downstairs once again to Laura.
Well, Dave, as you expected and as you said, Kendrick Norton is okay. Mark Richt actually came up to him on the sideline, asked him if he's all good. He said, yeah, coach, I can go right back in.
He has not gone back in for what is now a big 3rd and 9 play for the Hokies. There was no intentional grounding. He did get outside the tackle box, the officials ruled. 4-man pressure for Miami. Evans steps up. Now looks like he wants to run for it, but Miami's defense closed on him well. He got a couple of yards to set up 4th down.
But it's a good decision there by Gerard Evans, not forcing anything downfield. Very good coverage by Miami, and by not taking a negative play, they're giving themselves an opportunity at hitting a field goal with their kicker, Joey Sly. Career long is 49 yards. This is just inside of what that long is.
From this distance, it's not been a great year for Joey Sly. This kick is on the way, and it is good with plenty of room to spare. So a 47-yarder, and the Hokies take a 3-0 lead here, still very early in the first quarter. Dave Fleming, Jesse Palmer, Laura Rutledge on Thursday night in Blacksburg. Second most all-time Thursday night college football games played by this Hokies program. Second most home wins. They have been so good at home on Thursday night. No team has down. We've been doing Thursday night games on ESPN for 25 years now. Yeah. This is the signature program on Thursday night.
It's synonymous, isn't it? And how fitting that they're playing their 300th game at home here in Lane Stadium on a Thursday night. Here in Blacksburg, Virginia, to me, doesn't get a whole lot better than this.
The Hokies have embraced it over the years. Some teams sort of get a little uptight about the short week and not enough prep time. Virginia Tech loves these Thursday night home games, and they have thrived in this environment over the years. It'll be another touchback for the Hurricanes and a second chance for Brad Kaya.
Brad Kaya has played a lot of football. He's a 3-year starter. Came here and won as a freshman 2 years ago on a Thursday night. I really like his arm talent. He's a guy that, to me, throws a very good deep ball, very good in the intermediate zone. He's not going to kill you running the football. He is a pocket passer. He does do a good job sliding around and moving to buy himself time, and we've mentioned it already. Against this pass rush tonight, that's going to be critical.
And he has taken a little more criticism these last few weeks than I think we're used to hearing from fans and pundits about his play. This is a guy who's got a real strong track record of excellence. Kaya, a short completion across the middle for a nice first down gain. That's Stacy Coley.
And Dave, a lot of the local media has been very critical of Kaya these last couple of weeks. And I get the quarterback position. When you're winning and undefeated, everyone's giving you praise. You lose a couple games in a row, they're pointing the finger. But I disagree with it all. I went back and watched the UNC game. He missed 2 throws. He needs more help in pass protection. He needs receivers to get open. I think he's real talented.
2nd and 2. They'll swing it out left side, and that's a completion for a first down and more. The tight end, Chris Herndon, out to the Hurricanes' 40-yard line.
And I mean, we talk about the pass protection. I mean, he's literally getting his teeth knocked out. And I mean that literally. Hasn't been great up front. This offensive line has been porous at times, especially facing speed off the edge. And Brad Kaya has had to throw a lot under duress. This is the hit that knocked his tooth out against Florida State a couple weeks ago. Hurt his shoulder in that game. Wasn't 100% against UNC in their loss. Got to do a better job keeping him standing up.
He knocked out a molar.
That's hard to do.
Those don't come out real easily. Play clock winding down. Hurricanes get the play snapped, and another handoff right side running. Mark Walton, who is a tough runner, ran right into his own offensive lineman, but bounced forward for a gain of close to 9 yards.
You know, and this is going to help out Brad Kaya getting the running game going. And David Njoku, I think, out here at tight end. Watch number 86 right here get a nice seal block on the edge. Working there against Vinny Mahota, and just does a nice job giving the outside lane.
Okay, so you reward him for the block with a throw and a catch, and then you see the athleticism of the big guy.
And he's so athletic, and he's a guy that can get in the three-point stance at tight end, and you can line him out in the slot, and he can make people miss. A lot of different ways they can use this explosive playmaker. He's only a true sophomore.
He was a high jumper in high school, and you can see it from that. I mean, this is a big dude who can move. Kaya, you mentioned how he is not as mobile as, say, Gerard Evans on the Hokies side.
Bit of a different wrinkle. I mean, we do see some zone read in this Miami offense over the course of the first half of the year. There's head coach Mark Richt, who's calling plays offensively, something we didn't see him do a whole lot while he was a head coach at Georgia. He's got a lot of trust in number 15, I think, to bounce back here tonight in a hostile environment.
2nd and 8. Hurricanes moving the ball much more effectively. They went nowhere first time they had the ball. Plenty of time on the play clock. Kaya, short right and complete to the running back Walton, who could not quite spin away. And Tremaine Edmonds has started to emerge on defense for Virginia Tech.
When you watch the film, he just pops out at you. You don't see very many 6'5", 240-pound outside linebackers with this kind of freakish athleticism, the speed and the ability to cover ground. He's an excellent player in space, and to me, he's been the MVP of the Hokies defense this year.
Walton breaks that tackle against a lot of guys. They got to the line early to give him time to adjust. Now can they get that adjustment communicated? Pressure comes. Kaya's going to get hit. Ricky Walker, the sophomore, up the middle. And it was a group effort. Vinny Mahota was there as well.
It was Tremaine Edmonds, who we just talked about on the delayed blitz, and a little bit of a stunt. Look at 49 just wrap around this way. They get a pick on the inside with 60 Woody Barron. Brad Kai just hesitated for a split second. He had to go around on the outside. He had to get rid of that football, and just holding on to it too long allowed Virginia Tech to get home for the sack.
Yeah, that loss, I mean, Miami was in, they have a field goal kicker, Michael Badgley, who's got a big, strong leg. They were in borderline field goal range. Instead, 4th and 14, they'll be punting, trying to pin the Hokies deep. Angling it away from Stroman. Beautiful punt by Justin Vogel. Virginia Tech will start inside its own 5. The Hokies pass rush for years under Bud Foster, a signature of this Tech program, out in full force in the first quarter. Virginia Tech leads 3-0.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and Charles Schwab.
Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia.
Well, I do hope you were with us at the start of the telecast tonight. We tried to let you experience what it's like on a Thursday night here at Lane Stadium with the Enter Sandman. Jesse was down on the field. Laura was with the team, walking from the locker room. It just is not anything else quite like this scene on this night in all the college football.
And I've been lucky. The last 2 years that we've had Thursday night games here, I've been able to be down on the field to experience that. It's awesome.
A quick slant and a completion to Bucky Hodges, who is such a talented big target in the pass game for the Hokies.
He's 6'7", 245 pounds, and plays wide receiver. It's like trying to cover Kelvin Benjamin of the Carolina Panthers.
Quick snap. A handoff McMillan. He had no room to run. In fact, he might have lost a yard. Now here comes a penalty flag late. That one may well be against Miami.
It's going to be on number 7,
After
Kendrick
the
Norton.
play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct against number 7 of the defense. This is his first unsportsmanlike conduct foul. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Mark Richt not happy. Good news for Miami. Kendrick Norton's back on the field. Bad news, he's making decisions like this. Plays way over. Got a 305-pound guy just launching himself up in the air, piling on. No need for it.
Yeah, you can't do that. Talented kid and an important player for Miami. They are so thin along the defensive front, at least with their top guy. They do have young talent on the defensive line. They're going to give it to Phillips on a jet sweep type play. Again, the Miami defense was ready for it.
And this is a D-line in Miami that's really active. They like to stunt and twist and loop guys around. They've got so much speed and athleticism, and they're able to create confusion for offensive lines. The reason why they lead the nation with 10.5 tackles for loss per game.
Yeah, and it's a good point. Manny Diaz is the coordinator under Mark Richt, and this defense has played really well, and the big plays, the negative plays, have been the major reason why. The fake. Evans keeping it. Evans with that burst of speed and the power. First down to the 45.
Just option football, and defensively they didn't have the assignments down right. There was no one taking the quarterback. They put Darian Owens at linebacker on an island. He guessed wrong, took the pitch man, and Evans just hit it north-south.
That's a 20-yard rush for the quarterback. And the quick snap. That pass complete to Phillips, getting to the corner. Out of bounds after a gain of 3.
Well, you can see the tempo and how quickly Virginia Tech on offense can get lined up and get going. That's kind of one of the fundamental points of new head coach Justin Fuente and his offenses. No matter where he's been, they want to go fast.
Last year at Memphis, Justin Fuente with that prolific Tigers offense. Evans pressured, and that one incomplete. Third down.
Big reason why Justin Fuente was brought in because of that offense. That's been a major issue here at Virginia Tech for the last several years. Also been an excellent developer of quarterbacks. Coached Andy Dalton at TCU. First-round pick Paxton Lynch at Memphis, and it's been working wonders with this JUCO transfer Evans.
Yeah, that overall record is so misleading too. Memphis's program was in disarray when he took over, and just a few short years later they were competing for BCS bowl games. They're one of the best non-Power 5 teams in the country. That one almost intercepted. Great break on the ball by Corn Elders, one of the best cover men in the ACC, maybe in the country.
I think he's the complete cornerback, and he's a guy that has tremendous speed. He's about a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash. You're going to see him here working against Isaiah Ford, the best receiver for Virginia Tech. A little bit of a slip. Isaiah Ford did not come back to the football And that time, Virginia Tech very fortunate that Cornelder didn't come up with the pick.
So now the punt game has been a problem. That was no fair catch. That was a risky play, and I don't think a real smart one for Miami. Maybe in the end it saves a little field position, but Braxton Berrios took a real risk there. Now the Hokies defense will come back on the field when we come back to Blacksburg. Already put the pressure on Brad Kaya and the Hurricanes. Tech leads 3-0. Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart, 8 Eastern this Saturday. Number 2 Ohio State, that incredible road record on the line. Happy Valley will be rocking. Penn State will be ready for that game. In the Big Ten, it also will stream live on the ESPN app.
Buckeyes have won 20 in a row on the road. Longest streak in the nation. Whiteout crowd in Penn State, though. It's going to be fun.
First down, Hurricanes. The loudest part of Lane Stadium. Starting at their own 10. They will hand the ball off, and a nice hole on the left side for Joe Yerby, who's the second tailback. Yerby and Walton both talented. Let's go downstairs to Laura.
Well, Dave, Miami offensive line coach Stacy Searles not happy with pass protection, telling his guys they have to get back to their techniques, sustain their blocks.
So one solution also is to keep trying to run the ball, and Yerby gets a first down.
And that's exactly what Miami has to do, guys, because right now they're a better run-blocking offensive line than they are a pass-protecting offensive line. So early on these downs, especially considering Virginia Tech's down a couple starters up front, it's okay to put your cleats in the ground, try and be physical, reestablish that line of scrimmage, and give Walton and Yerby a chance to go.
Yerby alongside, they'll play fake to him. Kaya throws deep, he's got a man wide open, the tight end, Njoku, and he goes down at the 30-yard line. He made the catch, and now he looks like he's a little bit shaken up. A huge gain of 48 yards. I was thinking it was going all the way.
Well, there's a coverage bust here, so you're going to see Njoku, and he's just going to kind of run a wheel right up the boundary, and it looks like Virginia Tech's trying to in and out it with 3 different defenders, and they just completely lose him.
Handoff, no, a play fake across the middle, another perfect delivery for another Hurricanes first down. This time they all Harris, the sophomore wide receiver. Still trying to figure out why Njoku did not go all the way.
Score, yeah. I mean, you see that ball thrown in the air, and you're thinking, just walk that in.
And the Hurricanes inside the red zone, where that may come into play. They have not been a great red zone team in terms of scoring touchdowns, and part of it is that. That's a false start.
False start. Offense. Number 78. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Now you expect these tackles for Miami to be a little bit antsy and jittery here. Again, facing off against Vinny Mahota and Trevon Hill on the other side. The speed that Virginia Tech possesses coming off the edge. You got these defensive ends that line up wide outside and on an angle, a little bit of a tilt in these sprinter stances. Look at these guys.
Kaya toward the end zone with some contact there. No penalty flag thrown, incomplete. That was a physical play. Brandon Faison, the cornerback, with the coverage.
But I like on this drive, Miami taking some shots and being aggressive, throwing the football. You know, early in the game, quick throws, Brad Kaya was having a lot of success, but when he had to hold the football, Virginia Tech blitzing him, there was a lot of pressure on this drive, though. They've had an opportunity to get some balls deep down the field, some of that speed on the perimeter.
It is interesting, too. Harris, who made the catch a couple plays prior, was the intended target there. He has not played a ton for Miami, so maybe trying some new combinations out at receiver. Under center, Kaya, handoff, right side running. Yerby picking his way forward. Tough running for Joe Yerby. Stopped short of the first down.
This is a really good 1-2 punch the Hurricanes have, and Mark Walton and Joe Yerby. And Yerby comes in and spells him. He's got good feet and vision. I think both guys are very patient runners, which is why they have success running between the tackles as often as they do.
Yerby stays in. There's Bud Foster, the longtime defensive coordinator and one of the best. Third and 3, play fake. Kaya throws a fade, incomplete. Trying to hit him on Richards, talented freshman. It's 4th down.
Well, you're going to wonder what if, obviously, if you're a Canes fan, if the turf monster doesn't tackle David Njoku on that wide open coverage bust by Virginia Tech, you're looking at a minimum 6 points on the board. Nice job of Virginia Tech down in their own end defensively, though, kind of shoring up after that mental error.
And that is sort of what we were talking about, where they have had so many problems Miami has in this part of the field. That's why the slip and fall, whatever happened to Njoku, felt so big. Now Badgley, who's had some kicks blocked this year, but has a very strong leg, ties the game at 3. So we may never know exactly what happened, but I think it costs the Hurricanes 4 points, the big tight end.
He's one of the more talented guys in the country. Net, Miami puts a field goal up on the board. Tied here in Blacksburg.
Celebrating its 12th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. Since 2005, Allstate has donated millions in scholarship funds. Well, there is the super talented tight end, David Njoku, who had just nothing but open field in front of him on what looked like a long touchdown pass. Got a big gain, set him up for the field goal.
That's the most unathletic thing I've seen him do all year. The last guy on this offense I'd expect that to happen to.
I mean, here we are pumping this guy up as this tremendous athlete. He just fell down. Otherwise, he would have had a touchdown. So Virginia Tech gets the ball back. This college football season, stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com today. And you feel bad for him. I mean, it cost Miami ultimately 4 points. They kicked the field goal, they tie the game, but it should be 7-3 Hurricanes. Final minute 42 of the first quarter. Gerard Evans, 30 passing yards, 23 rush yards thus far. He'll hand it off. Left side running. And this is the more powerful back who himself is showing some speed. Marshawn Williams.
They've got a lot of big backs. This one 230 pounds, and they run him in between the tackles, but he has the ability to get outside as well. They've really been lacking the home run running back, the guy that can make a safety miss and take it to the house, but no doubt they can be physical.
Yeah, they'll take the 15-yard gains. That one is short. Toward the feet of Cam Phillips.
There is a great one-on-one matchup, but we've got to keep our eyes in this game. It's Isaiah Ford, number 1, the best wide receiver from Virginia Tech, going against Cornelder, one of the best cover guys for Miami. And normally Cornelder plays in the slot on 3rd down. He's going to mirror and shadow Isaiah Ford everywhere he goes tonight.
Phillips with some blocking in front, used that blocking to get around the corner and used a hold apparently. The penalty flag comes in.
I think it's going to be Bucky Hodges at wide receiver number 7 on the outside.
Holding, offense, number 7, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
There aren't a lot of corners that physically match up with Bucky Hodges on the perimeter. Now, Adrian Colbert, number 25, he's 6'2", 205, right down here. That's the biggest corner they got. Bucky Hodges needed to grab Jersey to keep him off of the ball carrier. That's pretty impressive in physical play from the Miami senior cornerback.
Bucky Hodges, who the first couple of years he was at Virginia Tech, they kind of pretended he was a tight end, called him a tight end. They've stopped pretending, really. He's a wide receiver, and a good one. 2nd and long after the penalty. Evans, the first-year starter at quarterback, a low snap. The snap has been a big problem, and it may have thrown off the rhythm of that play. The Hokies have had so much trouble getting the ball snapped.
And you can't explain it, Dave. And you watch film, you go all the way back to the start of the year, Tennessee game, it was an issue. Low snaps, high snaps, snaps that aren't timed properly, almost hitting receivers in jet sweep motion. And I do think that low snap by the center, Eric Gallo, that did affect the timing in that throw.
True freshman Joe Jackson ends up getting credit for the sack. This is his first career start, playing in place of the injured Chad Thomas. Demetrius Jackson also out. On 3rd and long, Evans will throw, and the pass is caught along the sideline for a nice gain, but well short of the 1st down. Cam Phillips, the Hokies, have to punt once again.
It was a nice job just trying to get as much as that yardage back for the punter in this field position battle that we've seen here early. first quarter. Bit of a defensive struggle.
Yeah, that'll be the final play of the first quarter. And we got off to the. They tried to snap for the punt, but that is the end of the quarter. We started off with the great scene here at Lane Stadium on a Thursday night with Enter Sandman and the fans so fired up for this big ACC game. The defense on both sides playing well. It's 3-3. Seems so simple, but that lunch pail's been such a big part of this Virginia Tech program for so many years now. Some turf from the win in Chapel Hill against Carolina. The keys to success, and they still remember the names from that tragic shooting here on campus in 2007. All part of the lunch pail. Taken care of by the Hokies defense. A booming punt as we come back here. That one goes into the end zone for a touchback. The guy who really helped get it started has kept the tradition going. There is the lunch pail on the sideline, Bud Foster.
And he's, in my opinion, one of the great defensive minds in all of college football. Longest tenured defensive coordinator in the country. He's been doing that here since 1995. I love watching him and studying him on film. He just is so creative with so many exotic looks and coverage and different alignments and getting guys double covered, and then all the different pressures and his willingness to dictate to the offense. He keeps quarterbacks and offensive coordinators guessing throughout the course of a game, and he does it every year.
Miami moved the ball well last time they had it. Brad Kaya with Mark Walton as his tailback at the start of this series. 1st and 10 Hurricanes. Kaya, pressure from behind, but he stepped up and now will throw low, incomplete. Intended for Harris.
And that's a miss, trying to go to a wide receiver. It's important that these wide receivers have an impact in these games. I think Miami has speed and explosiveness on the outside with guys like Coley and the true freshman Amon Richards. But in their loss against UNC, receivers only had 4 catches. Wasn't enough. Didn't do a good enough job. Contested throws against man coverage. They got to be better tonight, but Brad Kai's got to do a better job delivering the ball.
2nd and 10. Handoff Walton straight ahead. Got tripped up. Gain 3. I do think, a new coach comes in, Justin Fuente. Frank Beamer retires after so many years of success. Maybe the most important decision he had to make was he going to keep Bud Foster, and Justin Fuente wanted to.
And I think very unselfish by Foster too. There's no secret. He probably wanted the head job himself, but his willingness to stay, put his ego aside, pretty impressive.
Third and 7. Kaya with plenty of time over the middle, knocked away, and a spectacular interception. Motua Puaka, the linebacker, tipped it. Terrell Edmonds came in and scooped it up. What a play.
A phenomenal job by Motua Puaka at middle linebacker. He's only 6 feet tall, but he can run. And he's running with the tight end, Chris Herndon, right down the middle of the field, and he's able to tip this ball up in the air for Terrell Edmonds to make the play. Watch 54. He turns around, A, and locates the football, and then B, is able to get his hand on it to tip it back towards a teammate, Terrell Edmonds. Huge turnover here for the Hokie defense.
And I guess the question is, did he actually intercept it? Did he catch it cleanly? No indication yet that replay wants to take a look. I couldn't see anything from those looks to tell you otherwise. What a play, what an effort by Terrell Edmonds.
That's what I was just going to say, completely stretching out. And Terrell Edmonds has really good ball skills for a safety. He was a cornerback originally when he got to Virginia Tech. And what a benefit that is in your back end on defense when you have safeties that can cover and run and possess ball skills like that.
Well, the interception holds up. Now Evans trying to get away, cannot. The closing speed, the defense for the Hurricanes.
So a great job by number 80 that time, R.J. McIntosh. He fought through a double team and was able to track down the 240-pound quarterback. Look at number 80 right here, working against the center and the guard right in the middle, just fighting. Gets that big paw out there. He's been a very good pass rushing D tackle this year for the Canes.
So that goes down as a Hurricane sack. They've got 2. The Hokies have 2. Evans kept it. spinning away, avoided a big hit. He sets up a third down and maybe a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, and so now again you look for that matchup outside. Number 1, Isaiah Ford, he's been the go-to guy for Evans the entire year, and he's working again against the 5'10", 180-pound Corn Elder outside.
Quick snap, pressure picked up, way high, incomplete, intended for Ford.
And Evans was looking at it the entire time right from the jump, and the safety, Jamal Carter Sr., he beelined right over. Had that ball not been high, I think that might have been picked. He just goes right over to the left, takes the safety right there with his eyes. Had the ball been lower, I think number 6, Carter, he might have caught this right in his chest and taken that to the house.
How about the Hurricanes defense? Pressure on the punter, who gets away a good one. High. Fair catch inside the 15 for Braxton Berrios. So we will take a timeout ourselves. After the turnover, the Hurricanes defense was a quick 3 and out. We're in Blacksburg on this Thursday night, a 3-3 game. Back in Blacksburg, how about our Aflac trivia question? Here it is. Since 2000, what 2 FBS schools have the highest overall winning percentage?
You got to put Boise State in there, don't you? What about all the years with Tressel and then Meyer at Ohio State? Why are you laughing?
Okay, 2 pretty good guesses. Way to keep the suspense going, man. That was awesome.
Am I right?
Penalty flag thrown. Walton straight ahead running. Had a nice game, but I think it's coming back.
Holding offense number 68. The penalty was half the distance to the goal. First down.
You know what's amazing is, we talked a lot about the starters that each of these teams are missing up front on the defensive line, and yet both offensive lines still having their hands full. I think it speaks to the depth and the athleticism that both Justin Fuente and Mark Rick have on their defensive lines. Impressive.
And Tyree St. Louis, who got called for that penalty, he's been having a hard time. The right tackle filling in for Sonny Adogwu, who is hurt and out for the Hurricanes. That quick hitter and a broken tackle out into the open. Across the 15 out to near the 18. Well, we talked a lot about the players that are missing on the Miami side, and they certainly have had a lot of injury. 2 key players for Virginia Tech on the D-line are also out tonight. Kenneth Canham, Nigel Williams, Walton just could not quite get away.
Well, they're losing Kenneth Canham, who's leading the team in sacks with 4.5. That's him kind of in the back right, and then Nigel Williams, who's been really dominant at defensive tackle on the inside. So Virginia Tech now the starters gonna have to play a little more snaps for Bud Foster, and the backups, even though they're inexperienced, and some young freshmen, they're gonna get some meaningful reps, and they can't afford to be a lot of drop-off.
Yeah, he does have talent. Big number 97 in the middle there, a very highly recruited kid. Just a redshirt freshman. 3rd and 3 from the shotgun. Kaya, here comes a pressure, and it's Tremaine Edmonds with the sack.
And just nobody getting open for Brad Kaya. Kaya was ready to throw the football, and nobody outside was looking back at the quarterback for a place to go with the ball. And I just think the clock has to go off sooner for Brad Kaya, understanding, look, they're not looking at me, I'm throwing this away now. But one thing we're seeing from Bud Foster, he's blitzing a quarterback that's not very mobile, and he's going to continue doing that throughout the course of the night. So Miami's able to find an answer for it.
The defenses on both sides have really been dominant thus far. From the end zone, the angled punt with pressure on is not very deep. Stroman comes way up and makes the fair catch in Miami territory. Well, I know you've been waiting in such great suspense for the answer to our Aflac trivia question, so here it is. Aflac. Okay, what were your guesses?
It said Boise State and Ohio State. It could be so many other. Oh, wow. All right. Listen, I'm never usually right on these. People at home know that. So it wasn't like they were holding on to my every word, I'm sure. That easily could have been Oregon, Florida State. There's a lot of other ones out there.
Lots of good candidates. I mean, that's better than a decade and a half of football. By the way, Boise State will follow us. Big game on a Thursday night against BYU.
That's a huge game.
The Broncos are still undefeated. Chance to be that group of 5 team. Huge hole. McMillan cuts it to the outside. Inside the 20, inside the 10. And I'll actually say he stepped out of bounds at about the 11.
Augie Connie, the right guard, got tremendous movement right in here. Watch this push he gets and basically washes McIntosh, number 80, all the way down inside, and that opened the crease.
34-yard run. They'll give it to McMillan a second straight time. He fell forward to get a yard.
This is kind of that area of the field in the red zone that I think having a running quarterback is obviously a huge advantage. When you can get that added blocker and you get a 240-pound quarterback running behind some of these blocks with the extra blocker, these offenses so much more difficult to stop down in this area.
Well, they have not been great in terms of their touchdown percentage in the red zone. But you're right, it's a big factor. From the shotgun, Evans handed it off. McMillan slipped through to the 4. Virginia Tech, they can get a first down. It's not an end goal situation. The first down would come at about the 1. Now penalty flag, I thought pretty late. Looks like it's going against the Hokies.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Offense, number 57. 15-yard penalty. Third down.
Wyatt Teller called for the penalty.
Well, there's the low blocking zone is basically defined by an area in the tackle box 5 yards downfield all the way back to your end. And watch 57. I think he's the guard. He's going to be right over here coming this way late. Now, once the ball leaves that zone, all cut blocks, they need to be from in the front. We define that by 10 and 2 o'clock in front of the defender. And that time clipping him on the side like that, that's a good call. It's a dangerous block. See guys get hurt like that.
Yeah, you explained it well there. There is some gray area, some interpretation in terms of the yardage, in terms of the angle of the block. But I think they did get that one right. That's a big penalty. 2nd and 18. Evans steps up and throws incomplete. Phillips wasn't ready for it, and Evans, not a lot of touch on that pass.
Yeah, Phillips, I thought kind of turned the wrong way. It looked to me like Phillips was just running a shallow cross route. And watch number 5 come across. He instead of looking over his left shoulder, he started running a wheel route, it looked like, and that's not what Gerard Evans was expecting.
I think you're right. I'm not sure why he turned that way. That could have been a touchdown for Virginia Tech. Instead, 3rd and 18. The first down would come at the 1. Evans going to keep it. Evans straight ahead. Gets stuffed. Stood up right around the 10 by the safety Jamal Carter, who is a big hitter for the Hurricanes. It's 4th down.
He proved it right there. Hitting a much bigger quarterback than he was and stopping him right in his tracks. You haven't seen a lot of defenders, certainly defensive backs, get a chance to put a hit on big number 4 like that this year.
Carter, the guy who missed the first half last week against Carolina because of a targeting penalty that he was called for against Florida State. Another field goal try for Joey Sly. Good hold. Kick is up and good. Maybe a moment of waiting for the crowd, but yeah, it was through. The Hurricanes defense gives up the big run, but then holds. Hokies kick the field goal. So McMillan out in the open. Hokies ground game has been impressive, but what if for Virginia Tech they settle for 3?
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing, and K Jewelers. For 100 years, every kiss begins with K.
Because I know you've been dying to see the Hokie mascot through. We started with the live bird way back in the day. Your transition to the mascot costume.
It's really not a bird, though, necessarily. It was like a chant and a fight song invented for Virginia Polytechnic Institute way back in the day, and it was kind of just a
so then they had to pick.
Chant. Yeah, you got to pick something.
You got to pick something. So why not a turkey?
Yeah, I think it's good. You start thinking about Thanksgiving coming up.
Yeah. Great place to be around Thanksgiving time. The colors, the maroon, the orange. This is the time of year you see the colors on the field. You see the colors out in the trees. The leaves are changing. Brad Kaya, meanwhile, maybe not totally enjoying this first half so far.
No doubt about it. He's been under a lot of duress tonight. Bud Foster's been dialing up the blitzes and pressures, and it looks this time as though Brad Kaya maybe has been a bit confused by the different coverage looks he's getting. It's forcing him to hold on to the football a split second too long. He's now got to do a better job with that clock in his head, getting rid of the ball, having a plan. Wouldn't be surprised to see Mark Richt, the play caller, start dialing up maybe some more screens, some quick throws to the perimeter of the field to get the ball out of number 15's hands.
Well, sometimes these can be a little tricky to track, but pure blitz plays, 4 times the Hokies have done it, 3 times they've sacked Kaya. So the blitz has really been effective. That time it was the run defense in the backfield to drag down Yerby.
Well, as Jesse was just talking about, the looks from Virginia Tech's defense confusing Kaya. Bud Foster telling his guys they have to keep that up, telling them keep confusing him, telling them to show zone and then get into something else.
2nd and 12, they give it to Yerby again, trying to spin away, no. Woody Barron, number 60, led the way.
This Virginia Tech defense has so much speed in the front 7, not just rushing the passer, but they can go sideline to sideline and take away those outside runs, take away bubble screens, take away those wide receiver screens. It's a good counter to all the speed that the Miami Hurricanes have at their skill positions.
He is the guy, by the way, in charge of the lunch pail. Playing like it, 3rd and long. Kaya throws short. Coley, who's got great speed, out into the open, tackled short. They needed 18 yards. That was a nice play.
Oh, the speed just scares you to death. When number 3 has the ball in the open field, and it was Tremaine Edmonds, number 49, that certainly saved the first down with that tackle. They've saved a little bit more.
Who knows? I don't think, unlike the tight end, I don't think Stacy Coley's just going to fall down on his own.
But that's why Miami has to get these guys the football. You see that athleticism they have on the perimeter of the field. They just haven't done a great job now in the last game and a half of getting these guys involved.
Stroman to receive the punt from Vogel, who's got a real strong leg. Stroman way back to the 15 with 3 tacklers, would-be tacklers in front of him. And he's going down. Great punt, 54 yards, and good coverage after that. So the Bud Foster defense known for pressure, not just pressuring the quarterback. 6 tackles for loss already. Well, great college football in the SEC on Saturday. We get it started with Arkansas and Auburn at 6 Eastern, and then Jesse.
Yeah, another top 25 matchup, 9 p.m. 23 Ole Miss taking on number 25 LSU. Coach Orgeron's 3rd game as interim head coach in Baton Rouge.
And who will be there?
I'm going to be there. Brent Musburger, Kaylee Hartung, keeping it real.
The Jesse Palmer World Tour heads to Louisiana this weekend. Bucky Hodges with a penalty flag in the backfield. Made the catch, but did Evans get hit late?
Yeah, he did. That's another bad penalty by D-line.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 92. 15-yard penalty. First down.
It's Cortell Jenkins, number 92, just working up the middle. You see the ball's way gone, and I tell you, you don't have to do it. He's lucky that there was some contact there made also with his helmet to the face of Evans as defensive coordinator Manny Diaz looks on.
I mean, you can't do that. That is such an easy call for the officials.
There's been 2 bad penalties in this game so far by D-linemen from Miami.
Fake the fly sweep. Rodgers wide open over the middle, and a little shiftiness makes another man miss. Inside the 30, inside the 20, still going. What a play from the senior.
A lot of misdirection in this Virginia Tech offense. And they faked a jet sweep that carried a lot of flow with Miami. Jet sweep coming this way, linebackers going this way, and he's just coming right down the middle of the field uncovered. Sam Rodgers is a versatile player. Play running back, tight end, receiver.
Did you know he had that in him? Evans, end zone, touchdown. With the flag, Hodges for now.
I think it's going to be defensive holding.
Defense number 4. Holland to climb. Results of the flag. Touchdown.
After that penalty, this Virginia Tech offense completely explodes. Explosive pass to Sam Rodgers on the pop pass down the middle of the field, and then finding Bucky Hodges in the back of the end zone. Tug on his jersey there by Jaquan Johnson, number 4, wasn't enough to hold up the 245-pound wide receiver.
Extra point is good. 3 plays with that penalty, a big part of it. Sam Rogers, who knew? I mean, we know 45 is a tough kid, a valuable player, a leader. I'm not sure I knew he had that in him.
He's got some wiggle. I didn't know he had that kind of speed and game-breaking ability either, but Virginia Tech, Justin Fuente, Gerard Evans, they'll take it.
4 missed tackles, 52 yards, and then the very next play, number 70, so tough to match up with. Hodges with the catch, making his quarterback happy. 13-3 Hokies. It's not just before the game here in Blacksburg. This place has gotten loud after the touchdown drive. Hokies lead 13-3, 5:51 to go in the second quarter. Now giving the ball back. Joey Sly will kick it deep. Nothing but touchbacks so far. And this will be another one. The Hurricanes have the ball. Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart. Number 2 Ohio State, that road win streak on the line in conference play against the Nittany Lions. 8 Eastern, streaming live on the ESPN app on Watch ESPN. Urban Meyer, true road games as the Ohio State head coach. Never lost one.
Unbelievable. And how about JT Barrett? We talk about the ESPN Heismanology through week 7. That great second half last week on the road at Wisconsin. Square in the race right now for the Heisman as well. He's going to have to play well again. Remember, he had that great comeback win a few years back up in Happy Valley too, and that overtime win.
Meanwhile, Jake Browning just kind of playing it cool for the Huskies. Kaya throwing on first down to the tight end, complete. That's Chris Herndon outside the 30.
I like the idea on first down, moving the pocket and giving Brad Kaya some easy throws. Get him away from all of this pressure. He's got 2 really good pass-catching tight ends in Herndon and Njoku we already seen tonight. Just setting up more manageable third downs. Haven't had many in this game.
2nd and 3. Mark Walton, the tailback, tried to get to that corner. It just wasn't there.
Just not many guys on defense you see able to chase these guys down like that. That was 49 Tremaine Edmonds again. You talked about that athleticism.
His brother helping out too.
Terrell Edmonds, who already had the interception. Look at the Edmonds brothers. A little rendezvous on the sideline.
I do think it's something cool about this Tech defense where they deliberately have those two, the brothers, play on the same side of the ball. Quick snap, Walton can't get there.
It was them again. 49 and 22. The Edmonds brothers just converging. They communicate extremely well, and they kind of play off each other. See them just rally to the football. 2 phenomenal athletes outside. There's Tremaine, 49. Terrell was in that mix too.
It's really, it's a dynamic that it's hard to replicate. Those 2 kids are so close. And they deliberately do that. They play them on the same side of the ball so they can use that communication.
They can read each other's body language. They have great chemistry, obviously, off the field, but also on the field. Yeah, pretty unique situation, college football.
Just sophomores from down the road in Danville, one of 3 Edmonds brothers who played for the Hokies. Fair catch by Stroman. And they are playing big, the Edmonds brothers, tonight.
Yeah, really. We go back to Terrell's interception and the tip by Motua. Gets the big interception, and then the big brother, Tremaine Edmonds. I say big because he's physically bigger. Getting the sack as well. You know, we saw a lot of brother combinations in the Frank Beamer era. There was like 25 different brother combinations. Of course, Hokie fans will remember the Fullers. Vinny, Corey, Kyle, and Kendall all played here, all went on to the NFL. But this Edmonds brother duo deal, pretty good too.
And their older brother, Trey, was a part of this program for a long time. Grad transfer, he went to try to get some more carries and is playing for Maryland. Jet sweep to C.J. Carroll. There is the longtime legendary head coach, Frank Beamer, and they have kept Frank, as they should, a big part of this program.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's great, obviously, seeing here. If you consider what he did, not just as a player here in a retired jersey, the number 25, but how he turned this program around into for a while, a national contender and perennial ACC champion.
McMillan gets knocked from behind, but pushed forward for the Hokies' first down.
Yeah, this front 7 for Miami now needs to stiffen up and start shutting this run game down. It's going to be incumbent upon the linebacker core, and this is a defense right now starting 3 true freshmen at linebacker. Only program in the country doing that. It's remarkable. These guys have played well this season. They got to pick it up.
It is. It's a credit to them. Shoulder fake. Nice delivery. Rodgers again. Sam Rodgers becoming the big weapon for the Hokies into Miami territory.
It was the shoulder fake that froze the middle linebacker, true freshman Shaq Quarterman, for just a split second, and that allowed Rodgers to get in behind him and make the play. We're used to seeing Rodgers carry the football or be a fullback and tight end block. What the plays he's making tonight catching the ball.
First down, another shoulder fake, a little sidestep and a deep throw into coverage. Incomplete. I guess into coverage is relative when it's number 7 who's your target.
Yeah, well, when he's covered, he's open. And that's generally what happens when you have a guy that's 6'7". Again, it's the same kind of rules you see Kelvin Benjamin had back in the day playing at Florida State. He's probably going to play tight end at next level, maybe, but this guy really is a receiver. They use him as one, and they'll give him jet sweep handoffs. They'll throw him screens. Remarkable athleticism.
Handoff, McMillan tripped up. It'll be third down. Let's go down to Laura.
Well, Dave, we've seen Isaiah Ford for Virginia Tech have to take a couple series off in this game. It's because he's dealing with a right ankle injury that happened against North Carolina. He's trying to play through it, but it doesn't help when you're dealing with Cornelder all night, too.
I think that's true. It is pretty impressive. They have found ways to move the ball without the guy who's been so by far their biggest playmaker. Trying to convert a third down for the first time all night. They don't have a single third down conversion. They get Ford the ball back in, and he shows some of that burst. First down, Virginia Tech.
Yeah, there's a way to do it creatively. You throw him the quick screen. Cornelder playing about 5 yards off. And the inside block, you see right there, number 34, running back, McMillan. He's able to get the block on Elder, and that helps spring him.
Handoff, McMillan going backwards now, and he's going to stay backwards with a flag on top of it all. A very productive play for the Miami defense and a big hit on McMillan.
Holding, offense, number 57, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Now that was not an automatic accept that penalty. When you're in borderline field goal range, maybe that makes the decision for Mark Richt, but they lost a good chunk of yardage. Miami had to at least consider keeping the result of the play.
I do got to say, I am impressed with the youth of this defense. It looks like they're correcting it now.
Yeah,
looks like they're going to decline that penalty, which makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I was a little surprised when they took it. It was a loss of almost 5 yards. Officially a loss of 4. 2nd and 14 instead of 1st and 20. It is a really young, banged-up defense for Miami. They'll throw out with blockers in front. Phillips hits that hole quickly. Out of bounds at the 26.
Just a nice mix right now of quick passes to the outside, shot plays down the sideline. Got some pump fakes and working number 45, Sam Rodgers, over the middle of the field. And they're getting the ball out of Evans' hands pretty fast.
Hokies are going to get the ball at the start of the second half. It feels like a big sequence here for the Hurricanes defense. Already down 10. Fake pitch. Evans keeps. Evans gets away, but comes up short. Trying to duck under and get that first down. Short by a couple of yards. Maybe it did. Well, quick decision by Justin Fuente. He sends the field goal team out there.
Well, I like it because Joey Slies kicked the ball well tonight. Coming into tonight with 16 in a row.
Miami uses a timeout, so the Hurricanes want to keep some of that time to get the ball back before halftime. So they will use the timeout. We have a quick moment to check in studio with Adnan Virk. Adnan?
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Coming up on the Land Rover halftime report, we'll shine a spotlight on the Boise State Broncos, how some trick plays and a man named Spurbeck have catapulted them into the national conversation. And also a little something we call Virk in Overtime. We bury some teams and shine a light on some teams that deserve some more love. Sorry, Flem, Stanford struggling right now. Back to you guys. We'll see you at the half.
They beat Notre Dame on the road last week.
That's a positive.
By the way, so Miami calls the timeout, and the Hokies have changed their mind. So that's interesting. 3 for 7 on 4th down this year. And it looks like they're going for it on 4th and 2. It's Williams, the tailback. Evans for a rare snap under center. 4th down. with a hard count and maybe just trying to draw Miami offsides with no intention of going for it. Looks like that's the case. Now Hokies use a timeout to avoid that penalty.
Nice job of Miami. We've seen some bad penalties by D linemen from the Hurricanes tonight, but right there doing a nice job staying home, not jumping offside, forcing a field goal attempt. And I was saying earlier, Joey Sly, he's looked good tonight, and coming into tonight, it hit 16 in a row from inside 40 yards. But you're right, Dave. I mean, critical to get the points when you have the opportunities. Playing here at home, you're going to get the ball back first in the second half. Defense playing lights out right now. Really, with the exception of one coverage bust, they've looked excellent.
I do think for Miami, a big stop to keep the Hokies out of the end zone near the end of the first half. Sly looking for his third field goal of the evening. 38 yards. A little high snap, but a good hold and right down the middle. Perfect. Colton Taylor, the holder, did a nice job there. The Hurricanes struggling here in a tough environment. Miami, they were up to the 10th ranked team in the country. They lose to Florida State, and it's been a struggle since that game.
Yeah, and then of course they have a home game. Brad Kai is getting his molars knocked out, and a big one. He throws a touchdown pass on 4th down to Stacey Coley. All they need is the extra point to tie, maybe send it to OT. It gets blocked. And of course, the next week they would lose at home again to North Carolina, and it's a team right now that's fighting a lot of adversity. A couple weeks ago, they were undefeated, 10th in the nation. You've seen historically here the last couple of years that quote-unquote hangover effect that they've had to deal with once losing that Florida State game.
It's been an unhappy theme since 2013 for Miami's. The loss to the Seminoles, and they can't break that streak. They thought they had a great chance to do it this year as a favorite at home. And then that extra point miss, block. So disappointing. Last week, the first half was very sluggish against Carolina. Touchback. Hurricanes have 2 timeouts in a minute 28. Down 16-3. You go back their last 8 quarters, the Hurricanes offense with Kaya, with these receivers, with the 2 talented running backs, the big tight ends, 2 touchdowns in their last 8 quarters of offensive football. Unbelievable.
You could argue that tonight they're probably playing the best defense of the 3 they've played so far.
And the offense looks so explosive. The schedule was different, but
competition.
But it looks so explosive the first month of the year. Now let's see if the Hurricanes can get something positive going before halftime. Both Edmonds brothers blitzing, and both got picked up. Kaya still had nowhere to go with the ball. Now he'll throw incomplete. The feet got tangled up trying to get the tight end, Njoku.
Well, that was the first time tonight that Miami did a great job picking up the blitz. It was Mark Walton, number 1, that got it. You see there's another Hokie down right now. That's bad news. Vinny Mahota, starting defensive end. Watch right here. This block by Walton. That was able to give Kaya time. He was trying to throw an in route over the middle of the field, but the window never cleared.
Yeah, that's a great job on the coverage. Mahota just diving at the end of the play. That's when he got shaken up, it looked like.
And Kenna Canham, the starting defensive end, already out in this game with an injury, and missing Nigel Williams, a defensive tackle, and can't afford to be without their other starting defensive end, Mahota.
He is wobbly. That would be 3 starters down on the D-line for Virginia Tech.
Well, and good news, though, for Brad Kaya and the Miami Hurricanes here. An opportunity with some backups in the game to, one you got to take advantage of, taking some shots. Got a really good kicker in Michael Badgley. Just hit a 51-yarder this year against Florida State, so they probably got to get somewhere near Virginia Tech's 35-yard line to have a shot.
Maybe a shoulder problem for Mahota. I don't know if it's a stinger or something more serious than that. The flip side is a minute 21. Virginia Tech's got 2 timeouts, 2 more incompletions. They could have like a minute, the Hokies could, to get the ball back and try to score themselves. I think Miami, you're down 16-3. You got to be aggressive here. Throwing over the top. It is complete. Inside the 40, a big play. Amon Richards, the freshman.
And the true freshman is their best deep threat. He has tremendous speed, and Brad Kaya does a good job, I think, of putting a lot of air under his deep throws. It allows the receivers outside to locate the football. Nice play by the true freshman.
That's 39 yards. Good coverage on that play, but the pass completed anyway. Kaya rolling, throwing, threw it out of bounds. Stops the clock with 58 seconds. That's plenty of time with 2 timeouts.
But there are some good signs here, I think, if you're Mark Richt. One, you've shown the ability now to pick up the pressure from Virginia Tech and at least give Brad Kaya some time to throw the ball down the field. And 2, you've hit on a big one outside. Earlier they had the long completion to Njoku, but that was because of a coverage bust. That time you had a receiver straight out, beat the corner, Strom into the ball.
That was Miami's first down of this quarter. Wow. With a minute to go in the second quarter. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Some big targets out there for Kaya. Pressure. Kaya tripped up. Going down. Woody Barron is playing a big-time game tonight.
And a really interesting look by Virginia Tech here on these pass rush situations. Watch all the D linemen at the line of scrimmage. They're all in sprinter stances. No one's down in a 3-point stance. Who's coming? Who's dropping back in coverage? They're stunning, they're twisting, and they're trying to create confusion up front for the Miami offensive line.
Miami calls a timeout after the sack with 49 seconds on the clock. 3rd down. 8 tackles for loss per game. You said it, Jesse. I thought after the game on Saturday, which was it was a disappointing loss for the Hokies, no doubt about that. Up on the road in Syracuse, the numbers looked bad for the Virginia Tech defense, but I think we watched the game. We thought Virginia Tech's defense played better than the numbers would indicate.
Yeah, really, they gave up, an explosive play on a cover 0 look early in the game. There's a trick play that also caught them. The explosive plays have kind of been the issue for this Hokie defense. You've seen a couple of them tonight as well. But talking to the coaching staff, you kind of got the feeling they were really angry about that loss in Syracuse. They didn't think that was indicative of who they were, and they wanted to make an example of Miami here on national television tonight, especially when you consider they've lost 3 of their last 4 games against the Hurricanes. But I think tonight you're getting a better indication of Justin Fuente and his defense and how dominant they can be.
And I think one thing about Justin Fuente, he's known as an offensive, he is a very bright offensive coach, but he's a head coach, and he gives his defense a chance to do what they want to do, play the style that Bud Foster wants. He pays attention to the defensive side of the ball, and this is a big play for his defense. 3rd and 14. Helps to have the crowd on your side. They are loud. Kaya, time to throw. That one is. There was a battle for the ball. Wow. He did catch it. What a play by Stacy Coley.
This is a tight window that Kaya has to fit this into, but how about the catch radius by Coley? He's got a defender, Adonis Alexander, at 6'3", draped all over him, and Coley stretches out, plucks this with the hands, brings it into the body. Did he have any help? Did the ball ever touch the ground?
I thought it did.
I think it was right in his body. I think that's a catch.
Well, they're going to stop play and look at it.
Rolling on the field is a completed pass. That play is under further review.
Wow.
Joe Ryder is our replay official. Now, the ACC also gets help from the ACC conference headquarters, so it's sort of a group effort.
So I think what they're going to be doing here, one, is looking, does he have possession of the football throughout the entire process of it? Did the ground ever help him catch the ball? At the end of the day, a 50-50 ball.
Yeah, I think that is the question ultimately. The process of the catch, but mostly, did the ground assist him? The ball can move, but did the ground assist him?
You have to have complete and continuous control throughout the entire process of the catch. There has to be indisputable, it can be no indisputable video evidence to overturn this call. And again, on the field, it's a catch. So is there anything that you see here in this replay that shows otherwise? Indisputably, with 100% conviction, I don't think there is. I think that's a call that's going to stand.
I think you're probably right. It's not that the ball cannot touch the turf. It can. But the turf can't help you make the catch. You have to have full control of the ball even as it's touching the ground. And I'm just not sure we have the evidence to overturn the call on the field.
I think the football is being engulfed by 2 sets of hands. There's like 4 hands around the football when it's being wrapped into his body. How about Stacey Coley? Here's a guy that plays inside, he plays outside, runs good routes. We've seen the true freshman Amon Richards on a big play earlier, and now Stacey Coley here, what appears to be another big play.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands of a completed catch.
I think it's a good call. Good call. And these Miami wide receivers that didn't make enough big plays in their loss against UNC last week, making some more plays here tonight against a very good defense and tight coverage.
All right, so now 33 seconds with one timeout. And they will wait to get the play set up. And now they will roll that clock. So precious seconds starting to tick off. Kaya cannot take too much time here. That was 8 seconds before they got the ball snapped toward the end zone. Touchdown! Braxton Berrios, and what a delivery from Brad Kaya. What a big sequence for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, it's a nice job. They had Coley in the slot running a double move, and that forced the safety to just pause for a second. Watch Coley in the slot run the double move right there. The safety playing at the hash was watching Coley. He slipped for a second. That allowed Braxton Berrios to clear up. And what a nice job manipulating the pocket and sliding and stepping up by Brad Kaya. See, that's an impressive drive by him. I believe that's the quarterback Brad Kaya always has been, and you saw it there on that drive.
Extra point, hooked. Right, not even close by Badgley. Wow. That was not even close.
And he's pointing at his chest. He knows he pulled that himself. Blocked extra point against Florida State a couple weeks ago at home was critical. How costly will this be? Time will tell, but it's a good snap. He did have the laces out. That's for sure. It wasn't a great hold, but one Badgley nonetheless, I think feels like he should have hit.
Yeah, extra point. You figure it wouldn't make that big of a difference, but man, the biggest one of the year, of course, was against the Seminoles. We showed it just a moment ago. I'm sure Hurricanes fans are loving seeing this again. But that play changed the course of their season.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if they hit that extra point, you got a tip and block field goal against UNC as well. Yeah, I mean, what if they make that extra point? Go to OT at home,
win that game,
and carry the momentum. Do they carry that over against UNC? Are they undefeated right now and a top 10 team? It's amazing these seasons how they hinge on little moments like that and how the players respond to it.
And Mark Richt, you saw the shot, trying to be positive with his kicker. He needs his kicker to be mentally tough, stay in this game. You would figure 19 seconds the Hokies would probably play this pretty conservatively.
I would think so. Getting the ball back first here in the second half.
What a big drive for Miami. And the wide receivers making the plays. Badgley trying to shake that off.
Well, he's a guy that's made a lot of big kicks in his career. Had 25 field goals last year, which was a school record. You kind of see him laughing it off. And that's good news, too, because if you're playing on the road, huge division game, they're going to need him to make some more big kicks.
So that will end it here in the first half. A spirited game at Lane Stadium on Thursday night. 16-9 Hokies lead. We'll hear from Martin Richt after this. First to the studio. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. A spectacular fall night in Blacksburg, Virginia, the home of the Hokies. And a good one. A big, important game in the Coastal Division in the ACC. Virginia Tech leads Miami 16-9. First half highlights, and we had a lot of big plays on the defensive side. The Edmonds brothers tremendous.
Yeah, for the Hokies here. Terrell Edmonds, the safety, getting the interception. Big brother Tremaine Edmonds moving in for the sack, but it was on the final drive of that half that we saw Brad Kaya under duress start making some throws down the field in tight windows. Receivers making big plays for him. Kaya able to manipulate the pocket. Get a score. They did miss the extra point. It'll be interesting to see how that affects this team moving forward as well. But I think a big storyline we're going to be looking at in this game, can Miami's offense continue finding those big shots in the passing game? As the opportunities are presenting themselves in man-to-man coverage, and then conversely, can Virginia Tech's defense stop allowing the explosive plays? They've been so good at that. Heading into last week's game against Syracuse, they've given up a couple now, especially in the throwing game. And right now, we've got what we expected, I think. A close battle here in what's a wide-open ACC Coastal Division.
And it's hard, I think, to overstate how important that last drive was for the Hurricanes. I mean, they had a chance to be down big. Hokies getting the ball first, not feeling good at all. The touchdown totally changed the feel of the game.
And you see there the explosive plays defensively for Virginia Tech and how that's changed. Got them in trouble in their loss against Syracuse. Already 10 plays tonight of 10 yards or more, something we've not seen them give up at all this year.
Well, let's go down on the field to Laura Rutledge. Laura?
Guys, Justin Fuente, just as calm as ever when I talked to him after halftime, but he did say he wants to get even more pressure on Brad Kaya. He said you saw it. You can't allow him to have time in the pocket because he will make those throws. As for the offensive side, he told him at halftime, just keep plugging away. Points and yards will be hard to come by in this one, and we can't let up.
Well, I did. Mark Richt, Laura talked to Mark Richt. You might have seen that during halftime. I did like the way that he put it. Put the ball in play, almost like a baseball analogy, where if you strike out, nothing good can happen. If you get the bat on the ball, maybe something good happens. The equivalent for Miami, just get rid of the ball. Don't take the sack. Over the middle and incomplete. A low throw. Hodges tried to scoop it up.
And I think a big key here for Miami's defense in the second half is having great eye discipline and knowing where the football is. There's a lot of eye candy from Virginia Tech when you see linemen pulling and they're faking jet sweeps and play action passes and pump fakes, and a couple times the Hurricanes' eyes have gotten out of place and they've given up big plays. That's got to slow down now for them in the second half.
2nd and 10, a little extra pressure coming. That throw short. Phillips with the catch, and then the nice run after for the first down.
A play ago, it looked as though Gerard Evans may have hit his hand on a helmet as he was throwing. Watch him deliver this football, and it kind of looks like it got caught there on the face mask of R.J. McIntosh, number 80 for the Hurricanes. He's kind of shaking his hand a little bit after the throw. See if that affects him here.
Yeah, something to pay attention to. That last pass was on the money. Good delivery for the first down. They will pitch it back to Ford, and the defense read it perfectly. Huge loss. That true freshman middle linebacker Shaq Quarterman was not fooled.
Phenomenal example of the eye discipline we were just talking about. They're showing jet sweep coming this way, so you don't get out of control. He sees the crease. That's a true freshman playing with phenomenal instincts. Big reason why Shaq Quarterman was rated the number 3 inside linebacker prospect coming out of high school.
That was a tremendous play.
That's a senior type of play.
It was, and that replay angle, that camera angle, showed exactly what he was thinking as the play developed. 11-yard loss. It's 2nd and 21. They'll throw that wide receiver screen to Hodges, who was lucky just to hang on to the ball.
Another true freshman. That time it's the Sam linebacker, Zach McLeod, doing a nice job reading and recognizing, beating the block from the slot receiver Cam Phillips. Manny Diaz, very good defensive mind in his own right, no matter where he's been throughout his career. But he knows how special these young true freshman linebackers are going to be and how good, much better this defense is going to get now in the years to come because of it.
Another 3rd and long for the Hokies. 3rd and 19. Miami looking for a stop right away in the second half. Evans will hand it off. Kind of a draw type play. McMillan up the middle, and he had a long way to go. He got back across the original line of scrimmage, but well short of the first down.
But a really good sign for head coach Mark Richt. The last time the offense had possession, they drove down the field in a 2-minute situation, scored a touchdown. Now your defense comes out at halftime, force a 3 and out here. Young team playing on the road. Hostile environment, impressive.
2 sequences where this game has really changed. What a big punt inside the 5 with a Hokies bounce to deaden it, and the snapper Colton Taylor got down it inside the 10. How about our inside access brought to you by AT&T? If you were in the stands for Enter Sandman in the student section, maybe this is what it would have felt like.
Yeah, I feel like I was kind of standing semi-close to that. I mean, it was loud, and it was bouncing the entire time. Just looking up at the crowd from field level, it was just awesome.
So maybe not quite like being right there, but a good look at those students and how excited they get before the game, during the game, after the game. Hokies defense for the first time on the field in the second half. Brad Kaya will see if he can build on that drive with a lot of time. Throwing well short, incomplete.
It's a clean pocket. And I think we saw that on the last drive of the first half. And there on that first play, this offensive line is kind of settling in. They're IDing who's coming, who's dropping in coverage, and they're working their double teams and at least giving Brad Kai an opportunity to step up and throw the football.
When he has time, I mean, normally you're going to see the stuff we saw at the end of the half. There were a couple beautiful passes from Kaya. Second and 10. Swing it out left side, and the tailback Mark Walton just couldn't quite stay on balance. Went out of bounds at around the 12.
Now setting up the big third down, and Stacy Coley, number 3. He's been dependable tonight for Brad Kai. In the first half, he was targeted 3 times, caught the ball all 3 times. Right now, they got him lined up in the slot. In a manageable third down scenario.
They have not been a good third down team, Miami. Just a 4-man rush. Kaya steps up, going deep, and his receiver stopped. I don't know if it would have made a difference, but Harris, the sophomore, just stopped.
Yeah, he did. He quit on the route. And Kaya, I thought, did a nice job. He had some pressure coming from outside. He was able to step up and get rid of the ball, and Harris looked like he was just running a decoy route, like he never expected the ball to come to him. But receivers always got to know on any given play, you're alive, and then you've got to run the route full speed and give your quarterback a place to go with the football.
If you did want to know about the arm strength of Kaya, that thing traveled a long way. I mean, a long way. By the time it landed, that was maybe close to 70 yards. Punt with some decent hang time. Stroman will not fair catch, trying to set up a return. He's going to be tackled to Jersey. A handful of Jersey, and a tremendous special teams play by number 24, Travis Homer. So a timeout here in Blacksburg. Hokies get the ball back, and we'll be back after this. Back here at Virginia Tech, our backstage pass. Jesse Palmer, you were down on the field for Enter Sandman in the pregame.
We had to get up here pretty quick. I want you to check out Andrew Pennington. He's the guy that's carrying the GoPro around. He sprinted off with me off the field. We got into the golf cart, taking some pictures here in the elevator. I'm not exactly Usain Bolt, so it wasn't that hard for him to jog with me, but we made it up. I think I missed the opening kickoff. It wasn't awful. I made pretty good time.
But what about the golf cart driver? You guys were going the wrong way.
Yeah. He knew where to go. I had my trust in them.
McMillan with a block from his quarterback. McMillan near midfield, first down, and a penalty flag on top of it all.
Wow.
And there goes the medicine cabinet.
Jamal Carter is going to get flagged for a late hit. And Gerard Evans just pancaked, I think it was Cornelder at corner on that run.
After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 6 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Another easy call.
Yeah, and it's just one. We've had 3 of those tonight from the Miami Hurricanes defensively. Just don't have to give out 3 yards. Watch this block by Evans right here on Cornelder, helping give McMillan the edge.
Some volunteer student assistant is going to be in charge of putting that medicine cabinet back together, by the way. Mark Richt, he could not be happy. Those personal fouls, and they have all been just blatant. 3 of them that have really helped Tech. They are back down in scoring position, leading 16-9. 4 penalties total for the Hurricanes. 3 of them, those personal fouls. They've done a good job otherwise. Play fake. Across the middle, Hodges goes up and gets it.
He just has such good body control, and obviously at 6'7", he can climb the ladder, but he also has the ability to go to the ground and make the awkward body catch. Strong hands plucking it away into the belly, and I don't think the football touched the ground. I think that's a catch.
Yeah, he kept it cradled.
Impressive athlete, and right now, throwing away from Cornelder, who's been matched up with Isaiah Ford. I think Ford only has 1 catch on the game.
First down, Hokies, and another snap that was not perfect. Evans did a pretty good job, and with the power at the end of that run, McMillan ends up making a nice gain. That is, in case you were wondering, that is Mark Richt's wife, Mrs. Richt, and she was the one who went over and helped put that cabinet back together. Now goes back out, helps with the water.
Yeah, Jamal Carter is going to have some explaining to do then. It's the head coach's wife that's got to clean it up.
You're right, that makes it worse. Hodges, touchdown. Had do you stop him?
He's being double covered on the play. Bad use of leverage by Miami's defense. They got two guys playing outside technique on an inside slant throw. Someone's got to be on the inside to take that throw away. It was just too easy pitch and catch for Evans to Hodges.
His second touchdown catch of the night. 4-play drive. The penalty helped. Extra point is good. It's 23-9, Virginia Tech. So the Hokies will celebrate here on a Thursday night, playing well again in this environment. We look ahead to Saturday. Some of the storylines to look ahead to in week 8 of this college football season. 11 teams still undefeated. We'll see if Boise State can stay undefeated tonight. Who can stop Alabama? That is a good question. Nick Saban's team against Tennessee looked basically unstoppable. Top league, is it still the SEC? The Big Ten's having a great year. The ACC having a tremendous year. Those Broncos, by the way, Boise State coming up when we're done. Boise State and BYU. So can the Broncos stay undefeated? They'll be tested by BYU and the Cougars.
BYU, a team that's beaten Michigan State, beaten Mississippi State, had very close games against good teams like West Virginia and UCLA. There's a lot of offensive firepower in that game. There's two really good quarterbacks squaring off, two really good running backs as well.
Yeah,
McNichols from Boise, I think, has had already two 200-yard rush games this year. And of course, Jamal Williams, who's the school's all-time leading rusher at BYU. Yeah, that's going to be a great game later tonight.
Boise State's win against Washington State continues to look better and better as the Cougars play better. Your group of 5 leaders, okay, we know one of them at least is going to get a shot for one of those BCS bowl games. It may be one of these 3, likely to be Houston, Boise State, Western Michigan. The top 3 with some signature wins, especially that win by Houston against Oklahoma.
Yeah, you just kind of feel, it'd be interesting to see if Boise State still needs Houston to lose one more, because if they go unbeaten the rest of the way and beat a highly ranked Louisville team, remember it's the highest ranked group of 5 that goes to the New York 6 Bowl.
I think if they beat Louisville, depending on what happened, they would need a lot of help, but they could still be in the playoff mix. Houston could be, year B, tackled out in the open field. I mean, look, we got so much more. It feels like we're getting closer and closer. The playoff rankings are going to come out for the first time. The committee rankings here fairly shortly, less than 2 weeks. So we're well into the college football season, but things can change so dramatically.
And what's so great about it is so many of the highest ranked teams still have major tests in the month of November.
Quick hitter to the tight end. Njoku used a blocker, got the first down. Still feels like a huge play in this game. Njoku, who was just out all on his own. Perfect pass and tripped and fell. And Miami ended up getting a field goal, but he was going to score a touchdown. Back in the first quarter, here we are in the third quarter. The Hurricanes up against it. Hands it off. Yearby got back to the line of scrimmage, no more.
That's a great job inside. Ricky Walker, number 98. He's a backup defensive tackle who's seeing more time again because of the injury to starter Nigel Williams. There's the freshman Trevon Hill, also a backup. Been impressed with the depth up front on this D-line.
And Jesse Bud Foster did. He pointed out those 2 guys. Also said Tim Settle, real talented guy. He's number 97, standing there on the sideline, but they have some depth along the line. Pressure comes, incomplete. The big hit from Tremaine Edmonds.
And Brad Kai is not a statue, but he's not going to kill you scrambling and running the football. When Virginia Tech played Tennessee and Dobbs at quarterback, and then Dungy in Syracuse, it was more difficult to blitz because the fear of a running quarterback, but Bud Foster's continued to dial up the pressure on Brad Kai, and that's not going to stop, I think, here in the second half. I think if you're Brad Kai, I think you have to anticipate seeing it right here on third down.
Pressure picked up a little better. Back shoulder throw complete for a first down and much more. Amon Richards with another big play.
And it was a phenomenal pickup by Joe Yearby at running back on Andrew Motuapuaka. These running backs here late have been doing a nice job stoning linebackers coming in and giving Brad Kai an opportunity to step forward with the throw. A nice back shoulder to Amon Richards. That's his second big play down the sideline.
And they'll throw it on first down. Kaya with all kinds of time. Just scrambling. We'll see if he throws it away. He does. He took a major hit from Woody Barron, who's been putting pressure on all game long.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this has been happening to Brad Kaya all season long. Each and every week he's playing, he's put his toughness on display. And listen, he's 6'4", 215 pounds. I was down on the field with him before the game. He's not a little guy. He's not an easy guy to get down on the ground. He's taken his fair share of punishment, but he's been extremely tough, having to stay in the pocket and having to deliver. Look at that, 29 dropbacks. Look at all the pressure he's already been under.
4 sacks, 6 hits taken by Kaya. Second down. In the pocket again, wide open, caught, and touchdown. The second tight end, Chris Herndon.
It's the same route that Virginia Tech had a coverage bust on early in the game when Kaya hit Njoku. And Njoku slipped and fell down. This time it's Herndon. He's just running a simple wheel route. Watch him here in the slot. He's going to run outside. 2 Hokie defenders take the outside receiver. And Herndon's able to stay on his feet. And all of a sudden this Miami offense looking like the explosive offense we expected to see at the start of the year.
Big time. This game is a long way from being over, and this time the extra point is good. That has not been a certainty for the Hurricanes. Badgley this time kicked it through, and Brad Kaya and Miami's offense, Jesse, they've come to life.
Yeah, they have. Offensive line doing a better job with protection, running backs stepping up and picking up blitzes. Brad Kaya's been sharp.
Does help when you get the blown coverage.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Allstate, proud supporters of college football. It's good to be in good hands.
Well, so many reminders of the great Frank Beamer still here in Blacksburg. And Frank who just celebrated his 70th birthday. All his sayings, words of wisdom, the trophies that are dedicated to all the success that the Hokies had under the great Frank Beamer, is number 25. They do a cool thing here under Justin Fuente. They asked Frank for his permission. His number is retired. They have given number 25 to a different Tech player every week, symbolizing excellence on special teams the week prior. So Anthony Shagag, he's the honorary number 25 tonight. And after the touchback, time for our game-changing moment presented by Benjamin Moore. Another number that's been big for the Hokies tonight, number 7.
Yeah, Bucky Hodges, who's lined up a tight end. He's lined up a wide receiver. No matter where he's been, he's made a lot of plays for Gerard Evans. And a night where their main receiver, Isaiah Ford's been kind of quiet, only 1 catch on the night. Bucky Hodges has picked up the load. He's had a lot of one-on-one opportunities himself, some good looks, and as a result right now, 6 catches, 55 yards, and 2 scores. And that size mismatch, that's showing up right now for the Hokies.
He's out there, all the way out there on the left side. They're going to run right and pitch it to McMillan, who made a pretty nifty little cut there just to make sure he got some positive yardage. That could have been a loss.
Virginia Tech does a pretty cool thing. When they run these speed options, watch the center kind of pitch the ball. It's kind of a tough angle to see it there. But instead of snapping it straight back, the center actually snaps it to an angle and sort. There you can see it here. You see how he kind of leads the quarterback? So he's kind of catching it on the run, which helps the speed out to the perimeter. It's a pretty cool deal in the running game.
Maybe it's impacted their standard snaps, because those have been problematic. Nice move, Phillips in the open field, and another one. The Miami secondary's having a tough time tonight tackling.
Well,
Cam Phillips with the big gain, and now there's an injury.
Yeah, and that's Rayshon Jenkins. That's Miami's leading tackler coming into the game, and he was covering Cam Phillips out in the slot, and he is in a lot of pain.
I hate to see that. Already so many injuries for the Hurricanes, and that does not look good. They're going to try to take care of Rayshon, and we will step aside. Hokies lead 23-16. The senior safety for Miami, Rayshon Jenkins, coming off maybe the best game of his Miami career against North Carolina. He's played well again here tonight, being helped off the field. He got hurt on the last play. You might have seen the replay as we went to break. He'll go to that medical tent that the Hurricanes set up on their sideline. It did not look good. And we We can only hope that it's not quite as serious as it looked. Jenkins out of the game, and I don't think he'll be coming back in. Hurricanes down so many players on their front. Now they lose a key guy in the secondary. Still hanging tough with Virginia Tech. Gerard Evans and the Hokies offense. 1st and 10. 7-10 and rolling here in the third quarter. 23-16. McMillan gets the handoff. And they got right near midfield. Maybe falls forward an extra yard into Hurricanes territory.
You just wonder how many more of these injuries that Miami can afford to sustain. They're already playing with 4 true freshmen right now in their front 7. They've been doing that for a lot of the season, but now a little bit more inexperienced now playing in the back end.
Evans, that shoulder fake, stepped up, pressure coming, he goes down. That'll be a sack. He lost a yard. Quarterman was there. Kendrick Norton was there.
Number 7, Kendrick Norton.
Just impressed with the instincts that these young true freshman linebackers have been showing here in recent weeks. There's pressure coming up from the outside that initially forced Evans to step up. It was Quarterman was able to kind of fill that gap. Remember, we saw him make that great tackle on that reverse play at the beginning of the second half. These young linebackers just growing up before our eyes here as the season unfolds.
And I think sometimes he gets dinged a little bit. He's maybe not the fastest linebacker, but man, his instincts are fantastic. The throw on the move is on the money. Hodges for a first down.
They've got a new corner in the game right now, number 12, Malik Young, who's now trying to follow Bucky Hodges. Just a lot of cushion given up by number 12. That's just too easy for Hodges to come back to. Now you see him subbing off the field, new bodies, trying to get fresh legs in the secondary for Miami.
Another catch for Hodges, his 7th of the night. The handoff, McMillan. Cut it upfield. McMillan still going. Gets down to the 31-yard line. That'll push him over 100 yards for the night.
Yeah, and I've been impressed just with the running back group in general for Virginia Tech because it's been McMillan running the ball, but then we've seen Sam Rogers make a lot of big plays catching the ball.
Yeah, they list him. He's part of that running back room, even though he's sometimes a tight end, an H-back. He's helping out on the speed option. They pitch it to McMillan. First down, lowering that shoulder inside the 30, close to the 25.
They would love to do this, to start getting more running backs making guys miss. That was one big reason why this offense needed so much of the quarterback run game in Gerard Evans, because they didn't have guys lined up behind him that were really hitting home runs. But we've seen 34 show some wiggle in this game, and they need that here in the second half of the year.
I think he carried it just 9 times last week on the road at Syracuse. They have fed him the ball tonight. He gets the block down. What a catch! Leaping, tremendous grab by Isaiah Ford.
Yeah, Isaiah Ford is kind of the definition of a go-to receiver. Good routes, really good hands, speed to beat you deep, and at 6'2", he can do this. He can elevate, climb the ladder, and pluck the football. Most games, if number 1's lined up one-on-one, that's where Gerard Evans' eyes are going. And he's got that look right now at the top of the screen with Corn Elder in press coverage.
Yeah, that time Elder wasn't right next to him, and they gave him the ball. Rogers is going to throw! Touchdown! Yeah, he can do it all. The fullback, Stephen Peoples. Remember the game against Ohio State? I think Rogers did it that night, and he throws a touchdown pass here tonight.
Yeah, Stephen Peoples did a really good job acting. He's working outside, making it look like he's going to block somebody. Then he's able to release. Look at the left side of the screen. See Peoples, he's got his hands out like he's getting ready to block the corner. Runs right by him. A nice catchable ball thrown by Sam Rogers. Yeah, what can he do?
That is his 2nd career touchdown pass. The extra point is good. The Hokies have gotten to 30.
What was a defensive war early has turned into a bit of an offensive explosion on both sides. Virginia Tech with the trickeration as they lead right now 30-16.
Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart, 8 Eastern this Saturday. Number 2, Ohio State. They did have some battles with the Hokies these last couple of years. This time on the road in Happy Valley. The Nittany Lions await on ABC, streaming live on the ESPN app.
And Ohio State had some issues at Wisconsin last week stopping the run. You've watched Barkley for Penn State at running back. He's one of the best running backs in that conference. They're going to have their hands full with him.
They have to do a better job against their best opponents of making sure Barkley gets the ball, because he is a tremendously talented player. And if they can do it, maybe they got a chance Saturday night for the upset. Miami trying to avoid a 3rd consecutive loss after they reached the top 10 just a couple weeks ago. Touchback on the kickoff.
Kai has really been on fire, Miami's quarterback, especially since the end of that first half on that 2-minute drive. Under some duress, throwing the deep ball, giving his receivers an opportunity, working the pocket, buying himself some time. There was a touchdown pass to Braxton Berrios, and then here early, little back shoulder throw to the true freshman Amon Richards. And then a wide open tight end, Chris Herndon on a coverage bust. Brad Kaya coming alive, and I think really you got to give the credit first and foremost to the offensive line and the running backs doing a better job picking up blitzes and giving him time to throw.
Well, you said it right off the top here tonight. The Brad Kaya's struggles were mostly about players other than Brad Kaya. And he's got more of that help tonight. He's looked like his old self. He delivers one perfectly there, but a nice open field tackle for a short gain, and down to Laura.
Dave, as you guys are mentioning, better O-line play. The coach from Miami, offensive line coach Stacey Searles, finally praising them for their protection. He's been telling them just buy Kaya 2 more seconds of time, he will be able to make the throws. Also telling them they've adjusted to the noise and they're communicating better out there. That's got to be making a big difference.
Second down, they will hand the ball off. Walt, nice cut, first down.
And how big would that be? You know, if they could kind of find some of these gains, some success running the football, just to slow that pass rush down, create opportunities in the play action pass game as well. This all helps Brad Kaya, his ability throwing the football deep, these receivers outside.
The run game has not been robust. Now the sack yardage takes away from some of that total. Has been mostly through the air where they've had success. A drop. The tight end right in his hands. Njoku just dropped it.
And drops were a big issue against North Carolina in their last loss, and sometimes it's the easy ones like that.
Now that's a lot. The highest of all Power 5 teams, 9% of their targets have been dropped.
Yeah, that's just
1 out of every 10 passes dropped.
These aren't Superman catches. These are balls that are hitting receivers in the middle of the chest.
Second and long, Walton got away from one tackler, not the second. Chuck Clark got it. We haven't said Chuck Clark's name all that often tonight. He is a very solid player for the Hokies.
Let's see if Bud Foster dials up the pressure again. He's been bringing it up the middle with his linebackers, Matua Puaka and Edmonds, number 49. Miami's done a nice job keeping their running back in the backfield. So they've got 6 blockers. They can handle, obviously, 6 defenders. Does Virginia Tech decide to get aggressive again?
Matua Puaka not blitzing, just a 4-man rush. That one is caught for a first down.
And that had a lot of mustard on the throw, and it needed to. Outside working to Malcolm Lewis, because on the inside, Mook Reynolds, number 6, he was bearing down on that. You saw Brad Kaya's arm talent there. Wide field NFL type throw on a 3rd down. Bud Foster decided to play a big zone coverage.
Yeah, the problem for Mook was that Bud Foster was right there in front of that play, so he heard about it after that pass was completed. 1st and 10, Hurricanes. Pressure, Kaya goes down again. Woody Barron, what a game.
Spin move, and he's working against Miami's best offensive lineman, in my opinion, Daniel Isidora. Watch this right here. Quick feet, circle button, and he's in Brad Kaya's lap. That time didn't have to bring any pressure. That was just a one-on-one defensive tackle. showing off his pass rush ability.
That's his 5th tackle for loss. His alone, Woody Barron tonight. 5 tackles for loss in 1 game, 3 quarters. Barrios with the catch, and he just got walloped. Motua Puaka knocks him down.
Now here's a scenario where I can envision Bud Foster decide to sit back. 3rd and California, want to just keep the ball in front, play big zone coverage, and get the ball back. And you've got 4 D linemen right now, including Woody Barron up front, that are winning their one-on-one matchups.
He wants the wipe call.
Yeah, it looks like this is one of those deals. Some guys moving around up front, just putting their hand down in the ground. Who's coming, who's not.
They get the play snapped. Kaya across the middle, tipped up and incomplete. Trying to hit Chris Herndon, the tight end.
Motua Puaka has been excellent tonight in coverage. Remember, it was him on that exact same matchup, on that exact same throw earlier, that got the tip up for Terrell Edmonds to make the interception. He's not very big. He's 6 feet tall. He's giving up a lot of height to a much bigger tight end. But I think he just got a piece of that before it ricocheted off the helmet of the Miami tight end. I mean, that's a matchup. If you're Brad Kaya, you see that, I'm taking it too. I mean, that's where the ball needs to go, and Bud Foster knew it was a big play there by his middle linebacker.
But I didn't know he could do the scissor kick. That was pretty nifty. Stroman is going to let it go over his head. And that won't make, in fact, that'll help the Hokies by a couple of yards, down to at around the 17. Our college football rankings brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. The top 10, the top 5. Number 1 is pretty well established, but Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, all undefeated. Washington is too.
You know, how about another challenge for Alabama? 3rd straight week now, playing a highly ranked opponent, this time at home in Texas A&M. Louisville at noon on Saturday against a very good NC State game here inside the ACC. That's going to be a great game, I think.
That has a chance to be a really quality win for Louisville. We were sort of looking at the schedule thinking they go to Houston, that's a chance for a big win. But if they're ultimately going to try to make the argument with 1 loss to be considered for the playoff, NC State's played well enough to where that would be a good win.
Could have beaten Clemson last week. Ryan Finley, the Boise State transfer quarterback, he's been lights out this year. That's kind of a theme in the ACC. Great quarterback play across the board.
I think so.
Really impressed with it. You're seeing 2 of the really good quarterbacks dueling it out here tonight.
I don't think there's much question the ACC's been the best quarterback league in the country this year. And the 2 quarterbacks tonight, number 15, number 4 for Virginia Tech, have both played well. So we got 15 minutes to go under the lights on Thursday night in Blacksburg. As the Hurricanes trying to come from behind against the Hokies, it's 30-16 after 3. Taco Bell is a proud sponsor of the college football playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. We got a lot of choices in Blacksburg tonight. Great student support for this Virginia Tech program. Dave Fleming, Jesse Palmer, Laura Rutledge. A little dancing, a little chanting, cheering.
Great, really, fans everywhere around here, isn't there? I mean, we stay about 45 minutes away in Roanoke for these games, and the people are so nice. Really support this team. They travel, they get this place full.
It's a special place. Isaiah Ford out in the open. So maybe they're going to start to get Ford going. That's a Hokies first down on the first play of the 4th quarter.
Yeah, these Miami cornerbacks are starting to play off, and they're kind of getting away from the line of scrimmage. And you see the little trail technique and kind of a bailout there by Cornelder. Makes that slant throw a lot easier to complete.
That's the 23rd first down for Virginia Tech already. They have done a nice job moving the chains. Speed option play. And part of it is they've been productive on first down.
Yeah, listen, this will be a fun quarter to watch. There's a lot on the line in this game for both of these teams.
A lot.
Everybody will tell you every game's a must-win game. This is the definition of a must-win game for both of these programs. Midway through the season, Virginia Tech still controls their destiny in the Coastal. Miami needs help, but they need this win badly to stay in the race.
2nd down and 7 for Evans in the offense. The Coastal is just so wide open in this ACC. You got Clemson, Louisville, and Florida State on the other side. This one is incomplete, intended for Hodges. And this is a critical game. Virginia Tech's already got that win in their pocket against North Carolina. That is such a big win. Now, they played it in a virtual hurricane in Chapel Hill, but the Hokies won the game. Pitt, they think they're a contender in the division. Well, Miami knows its hopes are not great.
Well, they need help. They need North Carolina to lose twice. They need this win. Both teams still going to play a very good Pitt team. Virginia Tech, they still got to play Virginia, only has one conference loss.
Yeah, the Hokies have Pitt next week on Thursday night. We'll be there. Isaiah Ford, another Virginia Tech first down.
Yeah, they're getting him going. Remember, he was quiet in that first half. We know he's being matched up. Miami's best corner, Elder, but give this coaching staff credit. Justin Fuente, their offensive coordinator, Brad Cornelson, they've been creative in finding ways to get number one, the Rock. Right now, they got him opposite the field, away from Elder.
Evans, he's used that shoulder fake a lot tonight. He's also used his speed. Into Miami territory, another first down.
Yeah, he just moves so well for a 240-pound guy. He moves a lot like a running back. I mean, you see the ability to make guys miss. These are linebackers and safeties that are flying up and trying to tackle him. Just impressive athleticism. And again, this is why this guy was the #1 rated JUCO quarterback coming out last year in a big there are a lot of programs that would have loved to have had him in their locker room on the field leading their team.
And I do think you got to give Cornelson, Fuente a lot of credit. Evans a talented guy. Rogers got decked. But the level of competition is so different, and he has just hit the ground running right away, productive.
And it's not just running the ball. I mean, look at his performance tonight. 21 of 30, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Hasn't really put the football in harm's way, and this is why he's the most efficient passer right now, and what you and I think both agree is the best quarterback conference in college football.
And Trubisky at Carolina is having a great year. Deshaun Watson, we know, a Heisman contender. Lamar Jackson is the Heisman favorite.
Ryan Finley at NC State. I'll tell you what, even Dungy at Syracuse
has been tremendous.
He spins the pill.
Sort of a rollout design. That one knocked up in the air and incomplete. That was dangerous for a moment. Trying to get the ball to Ford once again. But of all those quarterbacks we just rattled off, if you use quarterback rating as your tool, the #1 is that guy.
Yeah,
Gerard Evans.
I mean, listen, playing in a brand new system, just gets on campus, and he's got a quarterback battle in the offseason with Brendan Motley that he's able to win. And you know, every game he's played, he just seems to get more and more comfortable. This team is buying in to Gerard Evans, and I'll tell you what, he's played well enough certainly for this team to win the Coastal Division. Then who knows what happens in the ACC title game. I would love to see them pair up with a team like Clemson or Louisville or Florida State.
Yeah, you got a chance to win a championship. Pressure comes from Miami. Evans steps up and throws. Tipped up, incomplete almost, and maybe should have been intercepted.
Yeah, that's Malik Young. He's been getting a lot more snaps here in the second half. We haven't seen Gerard Evans do that very often. The number 12, Young, he just let this one get right through his hands. Bit of a high throw, trying to work the right side of the field, way overthrows number 45, Sam Rogers, and that was about as easy as it's ever going to get.
Now, one thing with the punt, now we'll see if Virginia Tech really pins him deep. Barrios lets it go, and they do. It'll be down at about the 6, maybe the 7-yard line. So that does make a difference in terms of field position. They'll get the ball back even with the interception dropped. But a long way to go for the Hurricanes, down 30-16. Two big SEC games on Saturday. College football prime time. We'll start with Arkansas and Auburn. Auburn back in the top 25. That one at 6 Eastern, and then Ole Miss and LSU. Brent Jesse will be there in Baton Rouge. Nighttime there. Feels a lot like nighttime here in Blacksburg. Those are two good ones on Saturday on ESPN. Brad Kaya and the Hurricanes have the ball once again inside the 10. They have not started to drive outside their own 25 all game long, and this time they're going backwards.
Tim Settle, the freshman defensive tackle, making a great play. And see Bud Foster on the sidelines, been there for years, the defensive coordinator, and so involved during the game, and the cat and mouse game that's going on. Miami at the line of scrimmage, and they're audibling, and Bud Foster then audibling and relaying to his guys on defense to switch out.
Now the play is called. All he can do is watch. Walton got knocked off balance by Terrell Edmonds. It'll be third down.
I also just like his demeanor. How many times do you see defensive coordinators on the sidelines just freaking out, getting emotional,
and Brent Venables
fired up? And a lot of these guys need their own get-back coaches. Look, Bud Foster, he's just standing by himself. He's got a foot out in the field. He's got his play sheet.
I mean, Brent's a great coach, but it takes a 300-pound dude to keep him from running on the field every play.
Mike Stoops back in the day,
yeah.
Loved him too. Legend.
3rd and 5. Maybe he needed a little pull that time. Kaya on the move, nowhere to go. Just trying to avoid the safety. And Bud will be happy about that sequence.
I think Brad Kaya's played a good game tonight. The one place where I think he struggled is not throwing the football away when the pocket's collapsed and broken down. Understanding field position is so critical, and a punt's okay. But right here, he's looking downfield, nothing's open. He's got his right tackle. He's got his hands full, and really, Tyree St. Louis, he's working against Mahota. Mahota's not even rushing. See Bud Foster loving it. His guys have made a lot of plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we got another one. That's the 6th sack of the night for Tech. Punting from near the back of the end zone, and contact after the punt. And there was no flag thrown. A short punt. Stroman takes it. Virginia Tech is going to start well into Miami territory. Was the special teams player blocked into the punter?
I was just going to say, it's a really good call there, not having a penalty for roughing the kicker or running into the kicker, because I believe he was blocked into the kicker. You see that right there?
Yeah.
Number 80, I think that's their defensive tackle, R.J. McIntosh, actually pushing number 36, Adonis Alexander, into the punter. A good no call.
That's the read, because that one might have been the 15-yarder.
Oh, yeah, an automatic first down.
Yeah, he took a shot. Instead, no penalty, and the Hokies have a chance, maybe not to put this game away. We still have almost 10 minutes to go, but with tremendous field position thanks to their defense. And Evans is throwing the ball on first down, going for it. End zone, overthrown. Trying to find Hodges once again. If he had put that on the money, that was going to be a 3rd touchdown for Hodges.
Yeah, but Bucky Hodges, he just scares you to death because he's got a lot of speed and he has the ability to run by you, but as we saw earlier in the game, even if he doesn't, and you just give him a jump ball opportunity, I think that's a throw that Evans would like to have back. You prefer to underthrow that, just put air under it, and let the 6'7" receiver go up and dunk on someone.
2nd and 10. Handoff, straight ahead running. The ground game has been excellent for Tech. That's Marshawn Williams that time.
It probably as good as I've seen it now in a couple weeks for Virginia Tech. We got to give their big hog mollies up front some credit. With getting some movement and some push. And again, they're playing against the Miami defense that's down a couple starters.
Well, look at the difference in rushing yards in this game. Huge.
And that's big right now in the 4th quarter when you're trying to bleed the clock with this 2-touchdown lead.
3rd and short. Evans keeps it. Evans, I thought he was going to get there. Then he tried to shuffle over and did not get the first down. He was stopped.
Yeah, it looks like if he would just kept going north, he could have picked that up. Now Manny Diaz, he's waiting to find out. Are you going to kick a field goal or are you going to go for it? And it looks like Virginia Tech doing the smart thing.
Yeah, up 14, I think. The math would tell you get the 3-score lead.
Yeah, you make it a 3-possession game, no doubt. And your kicker again, Joey Sly, has been lights out tonight.
They're going to say a 43-yarder, I think, officially. It was blocked. Blocked, and Miami's defense and special teams comes up with a huge stop. The block kicks for both of these programs, good and bad, have been such a big part of the story.
But Miami's been so good at it all year long. 3 block punts on the season. This is now their 3rd block kick. Number 4, Jaquan Johnson, doing a great job splitting the blockers and diving out and getting ahead of this. Momentum changing play now, giving the football back to Brad Kaya in midfield. Manny Diaz, he loves it.
That's tremendous field position, and the Hokies did not take advantage. Here's Coley. He's tackled out of bounds after a nice gain, and he's hurting on the sideline there.
Well, I think Miami needs to get the tempo up going a little bit now, and you see Coley here on the sidelines. That's bad news for Miami. He's been their most explosive wide receiver this year, and he looks like he's in a lot of pain.
So we'll take a break here and hope that Stacy Coley is all right. 8:14 to go here tonight at Lane Stadium. And can we see what happened? Something with that. We'll be back.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Cadillac.
Now that was the scene before the game where night games, and especially Thursday night games in this stadium, have just become so iconic. And the Hokies fired up, their fans fired up. Has a chance to be a really good year for this proud Virginia Tech program under their first-year head coach. Trying to finish off a win in a very big ACC game. 8:14 to go. Hokies on defense. Yearby out into the open. What a move. Yearby still going to the 30, to the 20. He's finally tackled at the 15-yard line.
Yearby makes, I counted at least 2 defenders miss right up the middle. He has phenomenal feet, picks him up, puts him down so quickly. Just a zone read play, and he's able to just kind of get north right in the crease. Makes the safety Chuck Clark miss, who's normally a very sure tackler. You see the explosive speed. No, it doesn't.
A first down. This game is far from over. Brad Kaya will hand it off again. This time much less running room.
But I do think it's important that Miami kind of picks up the tempo a little bit, plays with a little bit more sense of urgency now. Under 7.5 minutes to go, down 2 touchdowns. These seconds are precious.
You don't want to put yourself in a spot where you have to make a stop where the game is over, or you have to get a first down or the game is over. You want to give yourself a little margin of error. You still have that with 7 minutes to go. This is the part of the field where Miami just has not been real efficient on offense for most of the year. And they're taking a lot of time. Now somebody moves. So after all of that, then you commit a false start.
False start, offense. Number 78, 5-yard penalty. Second down.
I mean, you think about the fact that the Hokies have had only 1 3-and-out all game until that last drive, which I guess would count as a 3-and-out with the blocked field goal. The time of possession is fairly even, but Virginia Tech's done a good job of chewing clock when they do get the ball. So I'm with you. There's got to be a little urgency for the Hurricanes. Not been a lot of it this last minute. Kaya steps up, throws short, incomplete. And maybe better for Miami. It wasn't going to be a big game, maybe 3 or 4 yards. It stops the clock. The only thing is, you got to be thinking field goal doesn't help you much.
No, I was just going to say, this is 4-down territory to me if you're Miami and offensive play caller and head coach Mark Richt. So if you're Brad Kaya here, you don't have to get it all back necessarily, but you certainly cannot hold on to the football like he's been doing and afford to take a sack.
3rd and long. 5th time they've had 3rd down and 10 or more yards in this game. Kaya, here comes the pressure. Kaya sacked again. Trayvon Hill, the freshman from Virginia Beach.
And Virginia Tech is just shifting and moving guys around, stemming before the snap, trying to confuse Miami up front. There's a little bit of a stunt in the game, a delayed blitz by 49 Tremaine Edmonds. The pressure once again, the 7th sack, just been too much for Miami.
And now the Hurricanes will stop the clock. So they use a precious timeout. This last sequence has not gone well for Miami's chances of coming from behind. Timeout, 4th down. They got to go for it, and we'll have that play when we come back. It's the ACC on ESPN. It may be the ACC's loudest venue. Play of the game, 4th down and very long. Brad Kaya and Miami, can they communicate? Throws toward the back of the end zone, and a pass that is caught but out of bounds. Coley caught it, and he's begging for the penalty flag, thinking he got shoved.
They got to look at that again. That was really close. So I think him even getting his left foot down in bounds. I'm surprised.
First down, Virginia Tech.
I'm surprised that Bud Foster did not blitz, even though it was 4th and long. Try and put pressure on Brad Kaya. He's got possession.
Wow.
Did that left foot get down?
I don't think it touched.
It didn't touch. It looked like it was going to fall down in bounds.
Oh,
Watch
my
the left
goodness.
leg of Coley.
I thought it was coming down, and it gets kicked.
Yeah.
It got kicked up.
A game of inches. That's a phenomenal effort in double coverage by Coley to go climb the ladder. And just by somehow physics, just keeps his left foot off the turf.
It was almost like a lever. Now McMillan out into the open. So this game may have been decided in those last couple plays. Rayvon McMillan having a huge night. What a great effort from Coley. Inches away from a touchdown that would have made it a one-score game.
But how about the night McMillan's had? This is an offense of Virginia Tech. Their offensive line have not been overly physical, getting a lot of movement tonight. They rose up to the challenge. They made it an effort, a concerted effort in the game plan to get number 34 McMillan the majority of the touches, which they should do moving forward.
They
and there's
should.
There's a place for Sam Rogers to get catches. And there's a place for Marshawn Williams to get touches as well.
Second down coming up. First to check in studio with that, Dan.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Brett Rippon and Boise State, they have a 29% chance to win out, according to FPI, the second best win-out percentage among group of 5 teams. Toughest game remaining for them is against BYU. It's coming up 16 minutes from now. Dave?
Yeah, so the toughest challenge perhaps left on the schedule for the Broncos. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech, we were talking about the Hokies, their offense. Miami came into this game top 5 in the country in scoring defense, number 1 in the ACC. Their defense is limited with injuries, but still really talented. Evans keeps it. And he'll get another Hokies first down, still going.
Yeah.
He's the quarterback. He is tough to bring down.
No, he is. And you know what I love to see there is the ball security. He's running into a pile. He's got 2 hands on the football. And that's important for him because he's had 2 fumbles in his last 2 games. But you just see the advantage having the quarterback runs and how that helps this offense. And on top of that, having a 240-pound quarterback, the physicality he helps bring this offense. And now, of course, Virginia Tech just milking the clock as expected.
Sports Center at night. After that game we were just talking about, Jesse, BYU, Boise State. So John Anderson, Lisa Kearney will be standing by. There is a lot to talk about with the NFL, the National League Championship Series, Cubs, Dodgers, this game, college football, the game after us.
NHL started.
There's your Canadian.
Well, my Blue Jays are out of it now in baseball, so.
Time to be a Leafs fan?
Something else for a lot of Canadians, you know, around this globe to get excited for.
The Maple Leafs franchise looking for a savior. Where do they go to find it? Scottsdale, Arizona.
There you go. How many goals in his first game are we talking about?
I think he had 4, right?
Yeah.
And that's my hockey knowledge for the night.
Get a boy.
Under 3 minutes to go. Tech just trying to end this game with the ball. Second down and long. Now Mark Richt is going to call a timeout to stop the clock to set up third down and a chance maybe for a final stand for the Hurricanes. So we'll step aside. 2:53 to go. Hokies trying for a big win. Time to update you on the Jesse Palmer itinerary. First, they'll have a game at Auburn. Arkansas and Auburn. That's a really good one. 6 Eastern on Saturday. Big game in the SEC West. And then another big one. Ole Miss and LSU in Baton Rouge. That's where you'll be.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see LSU's receivers Ole Miss's receivers and LSU's DBs.
How about Gerard Evans? He's going to take it all the way. The finishing touches. against a really good defense. It's been an impressive night of offense for the Hokies.
We always talk about the misdirection for Virginia Tech offensively and the eye candy. And this Miami defense at times have gotten their eyes out of place. And they did right there in the fake handoff. Marshawn Williams inside. A lot of bodies going here. Nobody outside. You got Sam Rogers trying to get a block, but there's the big 240-pound quarterback out in the open space. Hokies look so good running the ball tonight.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe in the end, all those Miami injuries taking away a lot of their depth. Maybe the defense started to wear down as the game went on. Over 500 yards of offense for Tech tonight.
Well, then, listen, this is a Miami defense that had seen two pretty high-powered offenses the last couple of weeks in Florida State and North Carolina and held them to 20 points.
Yeah.
Tonight they've had their hands full. And I think you're seeing Virginia Tech, how much more explosive they can be, especially once they start getting that running game going as well. Rod Evans, the quarterback, keeps playing efficient football. It's going to be a tough team to beat.
So it kind of sets the stage for our game next Thursday night. Now, we won't have Enter Sandman, not here in Blacksburg, which has kind of been the ultimate Thursday night venue. I bet it'll be rocking at Pitt. The Panthers are playing well. Pat Narduzzi's got an explosive offense himself, known as a defensive coach.
Yeah.
It's been their offense that has been really, really good. And that'll be a huge game in the ACC Coastal.
Well, and Pitt coming off a bye week. They've had extra time to prepare for Virginia Tech. But I've been impressed seeing how Virginia Tech's responded tonight after that loss at Syracuse last week.
It does help to have these home fans. Man, what a home field advantage. What a difference.
Yeah, and I think we're still learning a lot about this Hokies team. I mean, first-year head coach at Fuente.
And how about, speaking of, you think Coach Fuente, this is his first night game as the head coach here. Not like he'd never watched one of these games. First time he's been able to be a part of this environment under the lights. I got to think he's enjoying this one.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, because you can't kind of copy this in a different environment. This isn't simulatable. Like,
you're right.
You only got to be here to finally see it. And what an experience. Again, we're lucky to get to come and call these games on Thursday nights. Really one of the great environments that we get to see every year in college football.
Now the Hurricanes, they will lose a third game in a row. It was less than 3 weeks ago. They were a top 10 team, undefeated 4-0. Florida State coming to town, all the build up for that game. And it was a great game. Completion for Kaya across the middle. And now Miami, I mean, the challenge now with all the injuries and everything else for Mark Richt, just trying to keep this team together because all the big dreams they had, ACC championship and maybe even more, this will be their third conference loss in a row.
Yeah, it's a young team that's certainly reeling. They've got to now go on the road, play Notre Dame, and Mark Richt's going to have to get them refocused and re-energized.
Kaya, pressured again, he'll go down again.
For Virginia Tech, you know, I kind of had a question coming into tonight. You know, who were they? Were they the team that in the 3 games previous to Syracuse that beat people 137-20? Was that the real Virginia Tech team, or was it the team that went up on the road and lost to then 2-4 Syracuse? And I've been impressed to see how this team has bounced back. They looked like they were hungry for this. They understood the significance of this game, the sense of urgency they needed.
8 sacks tonight for the Hokies. Short completion across the middle. That's Mark Walton. Clock will roll. 1.5 minutes to go.
8 sacks without a starting defensive end. Your sack leader, Kenneth Canham. The starting defensive tackle, Nigel Williams. How big would it be for them if they could get these guys back going up to play on the road at Heinz Field?
Yeah, on the road, it will be different. That guy has been tremendous. Woody Barron, who's not on the field now. 3rd and 12 for the Hurricanes. Just a 3-man pressure this time, incomplete.
You know, if you're Miami, you're just still going to wonder what if Njoku doesn't fall down earlier in the game on a wide open play, if Stacey Coley is able to get his foot down in bounds on that last throw on 4th down, you don't miss the extra point. How does that change the dynamics of the game? And it's all woulda, coulda, shoulda. And you got to give Virginia Tech credit because they've come out and played phenomenally well tonight. But for Miami, Just near misses.
If you score the touchdown and don't miss the extra point, maybe you don't have to go for it. You kick a field goal. It's a one-score game. You got plenty of time. You're right about that. But none of that will matter because the Hokies are putting this one away. They'll get the ball back and presumably just take a knee. Evans will take a knee. And they should have to snap it one more time. Oh, there we go. That'll be the final snap.
It's been really impressive all around defense, pressure, and the quarterback Gerard Evans. I'll tell you. This JUCO transfer is going to give Virginia Tech an opportunity to win the Coastal Division and compete for an ACC championship.
Sets the stage for another big one for Virginia Tech next Thursday night on the road at Pittsburgh. The Hokies will improve to 5-2. The Hurricanes lose 3 in a row. 37-16 the final score for Jesse Palmer and Laura Rutledge. Dave Fleming saying, so long, time to take you to Boise State, BYU. And Jason Benetti